Chapter 381. Boom! Zheng Hong pushed back Shang Wuji, whose eyes were red, with a single palm strike. What's going on? What was going on? Your high nether sex people are all crazy, all crazy. Zheng Hong roared. Shang Wuji's eyes were bloodshot. Months of resentment, anger and grievances were all mixed together, and it was extremely chaotic. In his eyes there was only Zheng Hong's death. As long as Zheng Hong died, everything would be solved. Everything would be solved. Kill! Shang Wuji roared as he charged forward. However, Zheng Hong wasn't someone that Shang Wuji could defeat in a short period of time. You mad dog! Zheng Hong's eyes were filled with anger. The battle continued. The loud sounds caused all the cultivators in Worry-Free City to look up at the sky, watching the people fighting in the sky. Ah, that's the city lord? Is that Shang Wuji? How is that possible? Am I seeing things? Isn't the Triyu sect like a family? How did this happen? Are you crazy? They're all in the Divine Realm. Divine Realm warriors from the Sanyu sect? Are they all crazy? The people in the city all looked up at the sky in confusion. However, at that moment no one stepped forward to help. However, the Qi Realm and Essence Realm cultivators of the three sects noticed it. People from the High Serenity sect? Beat him up. Central Serenity sect? Humph, bullshit city lord. Sect master will definitely get rid of him. The four battle groups grew larger and larger. In the blink of an eye, a large number of Qi Realm and Essence Realm disciples from the three sects joined the battle. The entire Worry-Free City was filled with earth-shattering sounds of battle. Boom! 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 Battles were taking place in all directions. Explosions were taking place in all directions, and dazzling light from the collisions of various magical treasures could be seen everywhere. King of Hell's Palace. Zizi looked at the battles that were going on all around her like fireworks, and a wonderful feeling welled up in her heart. Flowers blossomed and explosions erupted all around. The entire Worry-Free City began to explode. Feng Tairan smiled bitterly. I finally know why you're not afraid of Zizi's curse. Huh. Everyone looked at Feng Tairan. Wherever you go, you're even crazier than Zizi. We wouldn't even have dared to imagine such a huge explosion in the city. But now it was right in front of him. No matter where you go, you can cause trouble. Feng Tairan said with a bitter smile. Zizi smiled. Feng Tairan was praising Yan Chuan as if he was praising himself. It's not over yet. Be careful. Just in case. Yan Chuan shook his head and smiled. Just in case? What's there to worry about now? The Triyu sect has been fighting amongst themselves, and now that they're all injured, it's too late for them to come to their senses. All 11 of us are at full strength, and we can wipe them out in one fell swoop, King Yimu said confidently. Shaking his head, Yan Chuan did not say anything. Until the very end, Yan Chuan would never let his guard down. In the battle between the 8 great deity realms, the one who was having the most trouble was Sect Master Yu. He was caught off guard at the start. Even though he didn't die from the sneak attack, he was severely injured. Coupled with the fact that he was being chased around by a celestial realm cultivator, it had been a few hours since then, and he seemed to have reached his limit. His left arm was chopped off in a moment of carelessness. The eyes of the divine realm martial artist who was chasing him were bloodshot. Go to hell. No, I can't die. Sect Master Xiayu's face was filled with fear. Boom! Unleashing the last of his potential, he forced his opponent away. Sect Master Xiayu soared into the sky in fear. I can't die. Sect Master Xiayu rushed out of Worry-Free City and escaped. Rumble! As he soared into the sky, a storm blew over. Sect Master Xiayu, who was about to rush out, was unable to continue flying. Chapter 382. How can this be? Why is there an array here? Sect Master Xiaoyu shouted. Give me your life. A voice came from behind. No, an array? Why is there an array here? Why can't we go out? Sect Master Xiaoyu fled in fear. Kaboom! The entire carefree city was filled with explosions. The fog in the sky was thick. Anyone who rushed up would be suppressed by a huge force. An array? Why are there arrays everywhere? How can this be? The entire city is sealed? Sect Master Xiao's heart skipped a beat. It was like a bucket of cold water had been poured over his head. Sect Master Xiaoyu suddenly thought of a terrifying possibility. Had they been tricked? Had Sanyu sect been tricked? As he fled, he looked at the city. The city was exploding and countless Dharma treasures were colliding. And these people were all from Sanyu sect. All of them? Were they from the Great River sect? No. Demon-controlling sect? No. We've been tricked. Sanyu sect has been tricked. Sect Master Xiaoyu suddenly shouted. Screw you, die. The immortal state expert behind him stabbed again. Boom! Sect Master Xiaoyu's legs were cut off by the immortal state expert behind him. Ah! With a scream, Sect Master Xiaoyu fell down the mountain. Boom! When he landed, Sect Master Xiaoyu suddenly felt something. Buzz! Sect Master Xiaoyu's body suddenly emitted a yellow light. The yellow light rushed out of his body and exploded. Merit pool? My merit pool has been destroyed? Destroyed? Sect Master Xiaoyu exclaimed. Suddenly, countless thoughts flashed through his mind. 40,000 mercenaries? Only them, it must be them. Yinchuan. It's Yinchuan. Sect Master Xiaoyu exclaimed. At this moment, Sect Master Triyu finally understood. 1 year ago, everything started from 1 year ago. At that time, Triyu sect was united against the outside world and treated each other like family. But now? Lying on the ground, Sect Master Xia finally understood what was going on as he watched the battle that had broken out all over the city, and Triyu sect killing each other. Yinchuan, it's Yinchuan. Sect Master Xiaoyu exclaimed. Go to hell. The Divine Realm Warrior who descended from the sky didn't listen to him at all. Boom! The sword slashed Xiao's Sect Master into pieces. Even in death, Sect Master Xiaoyu refused to believe this hopeless truth. Was the mighty Triyu sect about to be killed by Yinchuan? Bang! The Immortal Realm expert who killed Sect Master Xiaoyu instantly soared into the sky. Raising his sword, he headed towards the battlefield where Zheng Hong and Shang Wuji were fighting. Shang Wuji's entire body was covered in blood, as he was ruthlessly suppressed by Zheng Hong. Sect leader, let me help you. The Divine Realm expert roared. Boom! Boundless sword light slashed out. 2 against 1, Shang Wuji's disadvantage was instantly reversed. Why are you here? Zheng Hong's expression changed. One more God Realm warrior? Didn't that mean that another God Realm expert had died? A sect master. The sorrowful roar of the underworld sect came from afar. Sect Master Xiaoyu is dead? Zheng Hong and Shang Wuji were both shocked. No matter what, the 3 of them used to be very close. Now that one of them had died, their hearts tightened. No, my merit? My merit? The person in the distance shouted again. Zheng Hong and Shang Wuji both felt that something was wrong. However, they couldn't stop now that the battle had reached such a stage. Kill! 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 The battle was getting more and more intense. After the stage of killing each other was over, everyone was exhausted and started to be killed by each other. Corpses fell from the sky one after another. Countless commoners were shocked to the core. Chapter 383. Caw, caw, caw. The sound of a rooster crowing could be heard from Carefree City. A ray of dawn pierced through the darkness and shone on the entire city. It was daybreak. At daybreak, people could see clearly that the bodies of the Triyu sect experts were covered in blood. Boom! Zheng Hong, who was in the middle of the battle, suddenly emitted a yellow light. The yellow light exploded with a bang. Merit? My merit? Zheng Hong exclaimed as he forced back 2 immortal state experts. Shang Wuji, who was covered in blood and blinded in his left eye, also looked at Zheng Hong in shock. Merit pool! Shang Wuji exclaimed. Boom! The surface of Shang Wuji's body also emitted a yellow light. The yellow light then dissipated. My merit! Shang Wuji's expression changed. My Shangyu sect was uprooted? My Shangyu sect was uprooted? The remaining 7 immortal state experts all stopped fighting. Impossible, impossible! Zheng Hong exclaimed. How did this happen? Shang Wuji's expression also turned ugly. They weren't stupid. Seeing that the people fighting around them were all from the Triyu sect, they immediately understood. Is it the 40,000 troops? It must be. Shang Wuji's expression changed. Demon-controlling sect? Day sect? King Mai? Yinchuan? Zheng Hong was enraged. Clang! 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 10 rays of sword light shot into the sky. These were the sword lights of an immortal state expert at his peak. They were extremely powerful and weren't something that the heavily injured people could withstand. Moreover, they were all attacking an immortal state expert from the Triyu sect. Zheng Hong didn't have any sword light. The other 4 immortal state experts all had 2 or 3 sword lights attacking one. Ah! 4 heavily injured and exhausted immortal state experts were killed in the blink of an eye. No! Junior brother! Zheng Hong and Shang Wuji exclaimed. Their sect was uprooted and the immortal state experts in front of them were almost all dead. Whoosh! 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 Figures flew into the sky. Everything had come to an end. King Yimu and the other 9 immortal state warriors stared coldly at the 3 severely injured immortal state warriors. King Mai. You. Shang Wuji pointed at King Yimu in fury. Divine Realm warriors from the Day sect? You're all back? You all actually came back? Zheng Hong's expression changed as he said. At this moment Zheng Hong understood everything. Shang Wuji also understood everything. However, the situation was hopeless. The situation was hopeless. Kill! King Yimu ordered coldly. Xing! The 10 immortal state warriors attacked the 3 severely injured and exhausted men at the same time. Boom! Shang Wuji soared into the sky. No, we can't get out. This is the Day Sect's formation. The Day Sect's mountain guarding formation? Shang Wuji exclaimed. Zheng Hong also knew that the situation was hopeless. Zheng Hong's face flashed with ruthlessness. He reached into his bosom and took out a jade talisman. It was a purple jade talisman. Pa! Zheng Hong crushed the jade talisman. The moment the purple jade talisman was crushed. Boom! In a private residence in the carefree city. Boom! The sound of someone breaking through the door was heard. Bastard, I was at a critical moment in my cultivation. Zheng Hong, you bastard, you disrupted my seclusion. Bastard. An old man with furrowed eyebrows broke through the door. Elder Yu, help! Zheng Hong screamed. In the King of Hell's palace. Elder Yu? Who is Elder Yu? Feng Tairan was puzzled. Yan Chuan's face changed. Oh no, it's a variable. Hurry King Yimu, do it now. Chapter 384. Yan Chuan's expression changed. Not good, it's a variable. Quick King Mai, do it now. King Yi and the others also knew that the situation had changed. Kill! The 10 immortal state warriors attacked at the same time. Rays of blade qi shot toward the remaining 3 immortal state warriors. How dare you attack me? The old man's roar came from afar. Boom! 10 rays of sword light exploded, but they were too far away and there was a limit to what they could do. The other immortal state warrior of the Shangyo sect died on the spot, and the old man only managed to save Zheng Hong, Shang Wuji, who was severely injured. Bang! Bang! The 10 immortal state warriors were forced back by the old man. They all looked into the distance in horror. Phew! After leaving behind an afterimage, the old man instantly appeared in front of Zheng Hong and Shang Wuji. Greetings, Elder Yu. Zheng Hong and Shang Wuji said respectfully even though they were grieving. What happened? I have only been in seclusion for a few months. How did you end up like this? Elder Yu asked coldly. It's Yan Chuan. We've fallen into Yan Chuan's trap. Zheng Hong said in grief. The Sanyu sect has been annihilated. We are the only ones left. Shang Wuji said sadly. Impossible. Your Triyu sect alliance is the strongest force here. How many months has it been? How is that possible? Elder Yu exclaimed. It's Yan Chuan. It's the Day sect. They are here for revenge. We fell into their trap. Zheng Hong said bitterly. Yan Chuan? Yan Tao's son? Yan Tao from the Day sect? Elder Yu's face darkened. Yes. He is the Yan Tao who was forced to death by your Great Winged Heaven School. That Yan Tao. He is over there. Over there. Zheng Hong pointed at a direction with hatred. The 10 immortal state warriors also retreated toward the direction of Yama's palace. Elder Yu? An abyssal realm warrior? An abyssal realm warrior? King Ye's face darkened. In front of Yama's palace. Abyssal realm warrior? There is an abyssal realm warrior in the Sanyu sect? I didn't know about it? King Ye's face darkened. Abyssal Realm Warrior? What should we do? Z said. Inform Meng Honging. She is also an Emptiness Realm expert. Ask her to stop Elder Yu. Yinchuan said. Cousin? She is an Abyssal Realm Warrior? Meng like Elder Yu. Abyssal Realm Warrior. Like Meng Yu. But I didn't know cousin was. Zizi's face was filled with anxiety. I am. Meng, heaven Meng. Cousin, help me stop that Emptiness Realm expert. Zizi shouted. Why? Meng. Me? Meng. Then, he ignored Meng Honging and looked into the distance. Phew. The 10 Immortal State Warriors retreated. Elder Yu, Zheng Hong, and Shang Wuji also approached them. Who is Yin Chuan? Elder Yu asked coldly. That's him. Zheng Hong pointed at Yin Chuan. So you are Yin Tao's son? I didn't kill you back then, but you ruined the Great Winged Heaven School's plan. Elder Yu said coldly. Yin Chuan narrowed his eyes. An Immortal State Warrior near Yin Chuan shouted, Sect Leader, take Yin Chuan away. We will stop him. Senior brother Yin Tao only has one son. Sect Leader, protect Yin Chuan. Chapter 385. Sect Master, leave now. The Immortal State Warriors of the Day Sect shouted. You want to run away? Elder Yu sneered. The Immortal State Warrior of the Imperial Monster Clan frowned and asked, Sect Master, what should we do now? King Ye's face darkened. He knew that all the hatred was on Yin Chuan. He couldn't stop the Immortal State Warriors. What should he do? Abandon Yin Chuan? No. The Imperial Monster Clan was involved in the destruction of the Sanyu sect. We will fight with the Day sect. King Yi shouted. Yes. With just the two of you? Elder Yu revealed a look of disdain as he extended his palm towards Yin Chuan. Attack. The 10 Immortal State Warriors shouted in unison. Boom. 10 dazzling sword auras flashed and slashed at Elder Yu. Boom. The sword and palm collided, creating an unprecedented explosion. The wind blew and the waterfall in front of the King of Hell's palace flew up. Bang! The power of the sword and palm dissipated. Huh! Elder Yu's face darkened. Kill! The 10 Immortal State Warriors attacked at the same time and surrounded Elder Yu from all directions. Clang! 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 Elder Yu was fighting against the 10 Immortal State Warriors alone. Even if the 10 Immortal State Warriors used all their strength, they couldn't do anything to Elder Yu. Humph! How dare you stop me? Elder Yu shouted angrily. Boom! One of the Immortal State Warriors was severely injured and spat out a mouthful of blood. Kill! The 10 Immortal State Warriors didn't give up. Misfortune has arrived, misfortune has arrived. It's all my fault. Yinchuan, hurry up and leave. Zizi cried out anxiously. Seeing that Zizi had taken all the blame on herself, Yinchuan's heart ached slightly. It's not your fault. Really, don't blame yourself. Yinchuan shook his head and said. But, trust me. Yinchuan shook his head. Okay. Zizi's expression was still ugly. In the King of Hell's palace, Meng Honging narrowed her eyes and frowned. Is there really a love that doesn't involve anything else in this world? Meng Honging murmured. No, that's impossible. There are no good men in this world. Yin Chuan must be trying to trick me. Humph humph. Meng Honging said coldly. Meow. Big gangster, let's run. Meow jumped and shouted. Escape? You still want to escape? Zheng Hong and Shang Wuji's faces darkened as they surrounded him. Although the 10 Immortal State Warriors were suppressed by Elder Yu, they managed to stall Elder Yu. Feng Tairan was the only Immortal State Warrior left in front of the Yama Palace. Shang Wuji, you stop Feng Tairan, I will kill Yin Chuan. Zheng Hong said with a gloomy face. Alright. Although the two Divine Realm experts were seriously injured, one of them could still hold Feng Tairan back for a short time. Feng Tairan was about to stop the two of them. Sect Master, let me do it. Yin Chuan shook his head and said. Feng Tairan's face changed as he remembered what happened at the Demon Wind Mountain Range. Yin Chuan had killed 2 Immortal State Warriors and was much more powerful than he was. Since he trusted Yin Chuan, Feng Tairan nodded immediately. Ding! Yin Chuan pointed his finger between Feng Tairan's eyebrows. Zheng Hong, Shang Wuji, and Meng Hongying were all curious. Buzz! A large amount of essence qi came out of Feng Tyrant's pores and formed an essence qi avatar. It was Feng Tyrant's essence qi avatar, but its eyes were as sharp as Yen Chuan's. Oh! Meng Hongying was shocked. She couldn't understand how powerful an immortal state warrior could make an essence qi avatar. Weren't these two fooling around? Chapter 386. Yin Chuan stepped forward. This time Yin Chuan didn't draw his sword. Yin Chuan? Feng Tyrant? Zheng Hong's face tensed up. Boom! In the distance, Elder Yu unleashed his power again and sent the 10 immortal state warriors flying. Oh no, run! Yin Chuan, run! The immortal state warriors' Jiaohu voice came from afar. Kill! Kill them all! Zheng Hong shouted. Okay. Shang Wuji roared and rushed over. Yin Chuan stomped his foot. Boom! The ground shook and countless rocks shot up into the sky. Rumble! A large number of rocks surrounded Yin Chuan and spun faster and faster. It was as if Yin Chuan had turned into a star with countless planets orbiting around it. Stop fooling around! Zheng Hong attacked with his sword. Heavenly cycle of stars! Yin Chuan said in a cold voice. Boom! The countless rocks surrounding Yin Chuan suddenly exploded with dazzling starlight, as if they were shining stars. Boom! A large number of stars rushed toward the 2 immortal state warriors. Boom! Boom! The rocks didn't break when they hit the 2 swords. Instead, they pushed the 2 swords away. Boom! Ah! Impossible! Zheng Hong and Shang Wuji were both hit by a few stars. The powerful force even broke through their human qi walls instantly. Puff! Puff! The stars hit them and they were sent flying. Blood spurted out of their mouths. Impossible! How did this happen? The 2 were in so much pain that they couldn't fight anymore. Meng Hongying said in surprise. Turning a mortal into a saint and a void god? This is the power of the void realm. How is this possible? What kind of cultivation art is this? Ah! In the distance, the 10 immortal state warriors were scattered. Some of them even vomited blood. However, when Yin Chuan forced Zheng Hong and Shang Wuji to retreat, the battle in the distance stopped. Sect Master? No, that's not the sect leader. It's Yin Chuan. While everyone was still in shock, Elder Yu raised his sword and charged over. Bastard? I really should have killed you back then. Today you must die. Elder Yu's long sword slashed down. He slashed out with his sword, sending out a massive sword light. Countless berserk sword qi rushed out from all directions. Heavenly cycle of stars meteor shower. Yin Chuan formed claws with his hands and grabbed in the direction of Elder Yu. Rumble! The stars that surrounded Yin Chuan were really like meteors that rushed toward Elder Yu. The meteor shower fell. Hundreds and thousands of meteors rushed forward, shattering the sword qi. Like a hot knife cutting through butter, he charged straight at Elder Yu. Dang 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 dang. Elder Yu immediately changed the direction of his sword, and his sword energy shattered the stars. Boom! A large number of stars exploded. Elder Yu was fine, but his heart was palpitating. 20 years old? Less than 20 years old? You're a monster. You're even more of a monster than Yin Tao. Elder Yu said in shock. If you don't die today, you'll be a disaster for the Great Winged Heaven School in the future. You will. Elder Yu's eyes were filled with determination. Let's attack together. All the immortal state warriors, follow me and kill him. Yin Chuan shouted to the immortal state warriors. After all, Feng Tyrant was only an immortal state warrior, and this was only an essence qi clone. Yin Chuan couldn't use the power of his previous life at all. He had no choice but to ask the 10 immortal state warriors to cooperate with him. Okay, the immortal state warriors shouted. Yin Chuan took a step forward and soared into the sky. Around him, countless stars revolved around Yin Chuan. As he stretched out his hand, the stars streaked across the sky and rushed towards Elder Yu. Rumble! Chapter 387. Yin Chuan and the 10 immortal state warriors surrounded Elder Yu. Rumble! More and more crushed stones were sucked into the air, condensing into a saint. Countless stars surrounded everyone, like a black hole in the galaxy. The stars shot into the center of the black hole, shooting toward Elder Yu. Clang! 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 Elder Yu was in the center of the black hole. His face was pale, but he was still able to break the stars with his sword. What kind of skill is this? Elder Yu was surprised. Kill! King Yi and the others attacked at the same time. Their sword chi assisted the stars. Elder Yu, who was an emptiness realm expert, was in a difficult position. However, he was only in a difficult position. He was unable to hurt Elder Yu. Is this a heaven-level skill? Meng Hongying frowned and looked at Yen Chuan. Meng Hongying had never seen a heaven-level skill like Yen Chuan's before. Ha ha ha. I can also force an emptiness realm expert to retreat. An immortal state warrior shouted excitedly. Humph, even if you have a powerful skill, you are only an immortal state warrior. Elder Yu shouted. Elder Yu's aura suddenly surged. It was as if the black hole was going to explode. Rumble. A large number of stars exploded under the pressure of Elder Yu's aura. Oh no, this old man is going to come out. King Ye's face changed. Everyone, if you trust me. Yen Chuan. How about letting me set up the array? Yen Chuan said. You. An immortal state warrior asked. Okay. King Yi was the first to agree. Good. Good. Everyone reacted and shouted at the same time. Whoosh! In an instant a strong wind blew. The 10 immortal state warriors were blown to 10 different directions. Under normal circumstances, the 10 of them would have broken free from the wind. However, they didn't do so at this moment. Instead, they allowed Yen Chuan to move them like puppets. Attack! Yen Chuan shouted. Kill! Boom! 10 sword lights slashed toward Elder Yu from 10 tricky angles. At the same time, the power formed by the 10 sword lights seemed to produce a strange resonance of the same frequency. Buzz! The original might of the 10 swords suddenly soared, giving off a dazzling light. Under the huge light, the light in the surroundings seemed to dim. It was like a sun had been born in an instant. It was so dazzling that the cultivators watching from afar were blinded, unable to see anything. Boom! Ah, bastard, bastard! Elder Yu screamed. The 10 immortal state warriors looked at Elder Yu in surprise. There was a long sword scar on Elder Yu's face. It was as if his face had been sliced in half. Blood flowed out. This was the first time Elder Yu had been injured. I did that! King Yi exclaimed in surprise. King Mai had never thought that he would be able to injure a virtual realm expert. Although there was a difference of 1 level between the God realm and the emptiness realm, the difference was like heaven and earth. How could he hurt a God realm expert? Again! Yen Chuan shouted. Buzz! Under Yen Chuan's control, the 10 immortal state warriors changed their positions again. Attack! Yen Chuan shouted again. Kill! The 10 immortal state warriors shouted excitedly. This might be the most glorious thing in their lives. They were all very excited. In front of the king of Hell's palace, Zizi heaved a sigh of relief. Meng Hongying's expression changed. Yen Chuan. Meng Hongying said with a complicated expression. Boom! In the distance the 10 swords slashed again. Another deep sword scar appeared on Elder Yu's body. Chapter 388. Roar, roar, roar. Elder Yu was furious. A group of immortal state warriors? He was injured by a group of immortal state warriors? How could he be so badly injured? Again! Yen Chuan shouted. Elder Yu's eyes were bloodshot. He couldn't let this go on. With my blood, I will use the disintegration poison. Elder Yu shouted. Oh no, he is going to use the disintegration poison. King Ye's face changed. Slash. The 10 of them slashed at the same time. Buzz. The dazzling light blinded the eyes of many cultivators. Elder Yu's aura surged as he unleashed a power that was several times stronger than before. He swung his long sword and a huge sword aura blocked the attacks of the 10 immortal state warriors. Buzz. The 10 immortal state warriors and Elder Yu were in a stalemate as the two forces clashed. The 10 immortal state warriors didn't dare to withdraw their swords for fear that Elder Yu would kill them all. Yen Chuan and the 10 immortal state warriors fought back with all their might. Roar! Elder Yu roared as he suppressed the 11 figures in front of him. Not long after the disintegration poison, Elder Yu was more ferocious than ever. However, Yen Chuan was able to control the array of the 10 immortal state warriors. Although he was able to suppress them, he couldn't kill them all. Mother and son sword. Elder Yu's eyes flashed. Buzz. The long sword in Elder Yu's hand suddenly separated from the center as if a small sword had been hollowed out. The long sword became hollow, but it still carried Elder Yu's power. However, the small sword shot up to the sky and shot towards the king of Hell's palace. Stop right there. Yin Chuan's expression changed as he shouted. Cousin! Zizi cried out in alarm. The direction the small sword was shooting towards was where Yin Chuan's body was. Elder Yu would only be satisfied after he killed Yin Chuan. Meng Hongying also saw it, but she didn't want to save Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan was the key to holding Zizi back. Why should she save him? Meow! Meow shrieked out. But Meow's powers were simply too low right now. Even though she had managed to scare off the heavenly tribulation back then, there was nothing she could do right now. The long sword was about to hit Yin Chuan's body. Meng Hongying looked on coldly while Elder Yu revealed a maniacal smile. Yin Chuan and the 10 experts at the God Realm couldn't do anything at all. Ha ha ha! Elder Yu said excitedly. The small sword was about to hit Yin Chuan. Who? Suddenly, a purple figure appeared in front of Yin Chuan. Chi! The sword instantly pierced through the purple figure's chest. Zizi! Meng Hongying exclaimed. It was Zizi. At the moment when Yin Chuan was struck by the sword, Zizi used her body to block the attack for Yin Chuan. The power of the small sword was extraordinary, but strangely, it couldn't go any further after stabbing into Zizi's chest for a while. Zizi! Yin Chuan also exclaimed. Bastard! Elder Yu said furiously. The sword was about to kill Yin Chuan, but it was blocked by a girl. Time seemed to have stopped at the moment when Zizi was struck by the sword. Zizi looked at Yin Chuan through the golden mask. Their eyes met and a flash of nostalgia appeared in her eyes. Zizi! Yin Chuan in the distance suddenly unleashed all the power of his essence Qi avatar. The stalemate between the two sides was broken. Whoosh! The essence Qi avatar flew over. In a blink of an eye, it entered Feng Tyron's body. Yin Chuan's body opened his eyes immediately. Ha 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 ha. Elder Yu let out a sigh of relief as soon as he saw Yin Chuan leave. He laughed excitedly. Today none of you will be able to escape. All of you will die. Elder Yu said excitedly. However, before Elder Yu could kill King Yimu and the others, a powerful aura suddenly pressed down on him, suffocating him. Chapter 389. What's going on? Elder Yu asked in horror. Elder Yu had never felt this kind of pressure before. It was too terrifying. What's going on? King Wild looked at Zizi, who had been struck by the sword, and then at Elder Feather, whose expression had changed drastically. He looked at Elder Yu with pity. You're dead. King Yi shook his head. He ordered the Immortal State Warriors to back off. The Immortal State Warriors looked at Elder Yu with the same expression. You're dead. Just as Elder Yu was feeling puzzled, a loud explosion suddenly sounded above his head. Rumble! With a huge boom, the early morning sky suddenly darkened. In an instant the sky turned dark. Dark clouds gathered in the vast sky, and boundless thunder and lightning looked like thunder dragons rolling about in the dark clouds. The target of the dark clouds was Elder Yu. Hurry up and remove the formation. King Wildmu roared in all directions. Rumble! The disciples of the Day sect who were responsible for activating the array in the city quickly removed the array. Elder Yu looked at the sky. Among the rolling dark clouds, some of the dark clouds had already turned fiery red. The terrifying heavenly punishment was more than 10 times stronger than what Yin Chuan had faced previously. It was spectacular. The lightning dragons seemed to be wrapped in heavenly fire. The oppressive pressure made Elder Yu's face turn pale. What's going on? Who can tell me what's going on? Elder Yu was almost unable to breathe from the enormous pressure of the heavenly might. The divine punishment was too terrifying. He had never seen such a terrifying divine punishment. Why is it targeting me? Why is it targeting me? Elder Yu shouted in his heart. However, the divine punishment didn't change its target. It was him. Why? Why? Zheng Hong, Shang Wuji, tell me why? Elder Yu shouted. Zheng Hong and Shang Wuji, who were lying on the ground, looked at the tribulation clouds in the sky and the lightning dragons in the clouds. They were petrified. Tell me why. Elder Yu shouted. Zheng Hong looked at ZZ and shook his head with a bitter smile. I should have known, I should have known. ZZ, you killed someone you shouldn't have. You're doomed. Shang Wuji shouted. I'm doomed? What do you mean I'm finished? Elder Yu roared in disbelief. Looking at ZZ, who was stabbed by the small sword in the distance, Elder Yu's face flashed with grief and indignation. Impossible, impossible, are you God's woman? Why? Why? Elder Yu was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. Boom! Finally, a bolt of lightning that was hundreds of feet thick came down from the heavenly punishment. The bolt of lightning was in the shape of a dragon, and was surrounded by heavenly fire. Everywhere it passed, the air was set ablaze. It was as if the entire world was burning. No, no! Elder Yu roared as he flew outside. Tears welled up in his eyes as he fled. This was too unreasonable, too unreasonable. Why did the heavens favor that woman so much? Why? Elder Yu fled. But the heavenly fire thunder dragon was even faster. Roar! The roaring heavenly fire thunder dragon charged towards Elder Feather and crashed into him. Rumble! Heavenly fire and lightning enveloped Elder Yu in the blink of an eye. Oh my God! Oh my God! In the heavenly fire, Elder Yu roared for a while and then stopped. Boom! The heavenly fire returned to the tribulation clouds. The original Elder Yu was destroyed in the blink of an eye, not even leaving behind ashes. The powerful emptiness realm expert was gone in the blink of an eye. It was too shocking. Countless cultivators in Carefree City looked at the sky in horror. They knew that Miss Z was terrifying, but who would have thought that Miss Z was so terrifying? Emptiness realm expert? That was the emptiness realm expert. In the blink of an eye, nothing was left. It was too frightening. Chapter 390. King Yi and the rest of the Immortal State warriors watched Elder Yu turn into ashes. Although they had expected it, they were still shocked by the scene. Was he vaporized in an instant? Lady Z was too terrifying. They wondered how Lady Z was doing now. Everyone turned around and looked. In the distance, Feng Tairan was exhausted. Yin Chuan had used up a lot of his essence chi avatar. Feng Tairan felt weak, but as long as he was alive, he would be able to recover. On the other hand, Yin Chuan woke up and rushed to ZZ, holding her in his arms. Kaboom! The tribulation clouds in the sky did not disperse, as if they were targeting Yin Chuan. However, he was not harming ZZ after all, so the heavenly punishment was much weaker, just like when he combed her hair that day. Meow! Meow! Meow screamed at the sky. The group of Immortal State warriors was confused. They didn't know what was wrong with Yin Chuan's cat. Why was it making so much noise at this time? Only Feng Tairan and Lu Ji knew that Meow was trying to stop the tribulation clouds. Meow! Meow stared at the tribulation clouds in the sky as its fur stood on end. ZZ! Meng Hongying panicked and wanted to rush up. Get lost! Yin Chuan shouted at Meng Hongying. You! Meng Hongying was furious, but she still stood 2 meters away from ZZ. Meng Hongying did not expect ZZ's curse to be so terrifying. Although she was worried about ZZ, she was still careful of the curse. The small sword in ZZ's chest was bleeding. ZZ's eyes were filled with reluctance as she looked at Yin Chuan, who was hugging her. Yin Chuan stopped Meng Hongying and touched ZZ's chest, touching the place where the small sword was inserted. Heart? Stabbed into his heart? Yin Chuan's expression was extremely ugly. Yin Chuan, I'm so happy. Feels so good to be protected by someone. It feels so good to lie in your arms. ZZ said weakly. Quickly find all the medicinal pills. Quickly find all the life-saving medicinal pills. Yin Chuan shouted at Feng Tairan. Okay. Feng Tairan quickly asked everyone to find the elixirs. It's useless. My Violet Palace realm is broken. ZZZ shook her head. She grabbed Yin Chuan's Violet Palace realm sleeve. Her eyes were filled with reluctance. That day you came to my Violet Heart Villa. You asked me why I was alone, why I'm not in the city and Violet Palace realm. Don't you feel lonely? ZZ's eyes were filled with desolation. Why? Why? Yin Chuan followed ZZ's words and a pained expression flashed across his face. I'm afraid of being alone. I'm afraid of being alone. Although there are many people in the downtown area and it's lively. Once I enter the downtown area, I feel even more lonely and my heart is even colder. I'm afraid of the cold. I'm afraid of being alone. Zizi said in fear. I'm here. Everything will be fine. Yanchuan hugged Zizi. It wasn't that Zizi was hopeless. In his previous life, Yanchuan had the ability to save Zizi. But now, Yanchuan had no choice but to continuously transfer his essence into Zizi's chest. He kept transferring the essence into her body. I was born alone and everyone avoided me. I'm so sad. But there's always someone in my heart. Because I'm married, I still have a husband. All these years I've been supporting myself with this. When I went to Yinjing last time, I was so scared. I was so scared that you would really divorce me. Zizi said weakly. He won't. Never. Yanchuan's eyes moistened. Chapter 391. I'm so happy that you didn't sign the divorce papers. Even if you don't come to see me in the future, I'll have enough. At least I'll keep the warmth of that time in my heart. But you came and you didn't abandon me. You even accompanied me and combed my hair. Zizi said weakly. You're my wife. This life is destined. It's only right that I comb your hair. Yanchuan's eyes gradually moistened. Zizi seemed to be having a terminal lucidity. She couldn't stop talking. Can I call you husband? Zizi asked expectantly. She seemed to know that she was about to die. Yes. Yanchuan nodded. Husband. Zizi cried out with tears in her eyes. Boom! An explosion suddenly sounded in the sky, and the tribulation clouds that were originally there suddenly rose sharply. Meow! Meow's voice became even more shrill. It was as if her throat was about to go hoarse. Looking at Zizi, Yanchuan hugged her with one hand and continued to circulate his essence energy. His other hand, however, gently lifted Zizi's mask. No, don't! Zizi cried weakly. However, Yanchuan didn't listen. He forcefully lifted the mask. As soon as the mask was lifted, an extremely delicate face was revealed. King Yimu and the others nearby were just about to take a look when an enormous pressure suddenly pressed down on them. It seemed that the heavenly tribulation was targeting them as well. Ah! King Yimu and the others quickly retreated as far as they could. The power of the curse had increased? Rumble! The tribulation clouds grew thicker. Meow, you big hooligan, I can't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. Meow cried out. The two of them, who were hugging each other, couldn't hear anything from the outside world. Yanchuan looked at the beauty in his arms, deeply moved. Zizi was so moved that she didn't know how to react. Husband! Zizi could only say these words. Her eyelids were about to close. Looking at those delicate red lips, Yanchuan kissed her. He kissed Zizi's lips. Zizi, who was about to close her eyes, suddenly opened them. Her eyes were filled with surprise and joy. At this moment there was no longer any regret in Zizi's eyes. With a sweet expression, she slowly closed her eyes. Rumble! The tribulation clouds in the sky became even thicker. This violation once again triggered the wrath of the heavens. A great punishment was about to descend. Meng Hongying said with a complicated expression, Get out of the way. Do you really want Zizi to die? Yanchuan finally parted his lips from purple and looked at Meng Hongying in annoyance. Meng Hongying took out a huge transparent sphere. It had a diameter of 3 zhang. Its interior seemed to be filled with endless blue liquid. Spring of life. Yanchuan immediately revealed a look of ecstasy. Carrying the unconscious Zizi, he rushed over. Boom! Yanchuan pushed Zizi into the hole and pulled out the long sword from her chest. Purple floated in the blue liquid. You know about the spring of life? Meng Hongying was surprised. The spring of life can keep Zizi in this state. That's great. I'll find a way to save her. Yanchuan was overjoyed. There's no need for that. I don't know how long it will take for you to find it. I'll bring Zizi back. I have a tree of life at home. As long as I put Zizi in it and extract the essence of the tree of life, Zizi will be fine. Meng Hongying said confidently. Really? Yanchuan was overjoyed. You should worry about yourself. Meng Hongying said. After what happened just now, Meng Hongying's attitude towards Yanchuan had improved. However, she still rejected Yanchuan. Meow. Chapter 392. Meow meowed weakly. Yin Chuan looked up at the sky. The tribulation clouds were getting thicker and thicker. Although it wasn't as thick as the one that killed Elder Yu, it was at least twice as thick as the one that combed Elder Yu's hair. Pervert, it's over. I can't hold on any longer. Meow. Meow cried out in pain again. Boom! A huge bolt of lightning with a diameter of 10 feet struck down from the sky. Its violent aura made the surrounding cultivators terrified. Even an immortal state warrior wouldn't be able to withstand such a huge bolt of lightning. Meng Hongying carried ZZ and flew away. The bolt of lightning was heading straight for Yin Chuan and Meow. Yin Chuan wasn't the only one who had offended the heavens. Meow had done the same, so they were being punished together. Meow! Meow cried out in pain. Yin Chuan quickly pounced on Meow and hugged Meow in his arms. Boom! The huge bolt of lightning struck down and instantly enveloped Yin Chuan. Boom! The entire mountain where the King of Hell's palace was located was blasted apart. My king! Lu Jin, who had been blasted into the sky, screamed. King Yi Mu and the others were in despair. Sky swallowing poison. Amidst the lightning, Yin Chuan hugged Meow Meow and roared with difficulty. Kaboom! One could vaguely see a black aura around Yin Chuan's body. The black aura was violently absorbing the lightning that had enveloped Yin Chuan. Kaboom! Lightning fell from the sky. It was as if a huge crater had been created. Yin Chuan fell into the crater with Meow in his arms. The crater shone brightly as countless bolts of lightning fell, as if they were going to blast Yin Chuan to pieces. Meow was shivering in Yin Chuan's arms as she looked around Yin Chuan. Roar! Yin Chuan opened his mouth and roared, but countless lightning bolts quickly rushed into Yin Chuan's mouth. It was as if Yin Chuan was swallowing endless thunder and lightning. Roar! Yin Chuan continuously swallowed the pool of lightning into his stomach. The more he swallowed, the more lightning there was. Pa pa pa! Although a large amount of lightning struck Meow's body, it was just the aftermath. Most of it was swallowed by Yin Chuan. Meow! Meow looked at Yin Chuan in confusion. Boom! Yin Chuan's body was also lacerated. However, his face was incomparably ferocious. He swallowed the thunder and lightning in his mouth. After the thunder and lightning were swallowed, the thunder and lightning surged into his Divine Hall Acupoint. The Divine Hall Acupoint contained the tribulation clouds that Yin Chuan had swallowed during his tribulation. As the thunder and lightning rushed into it, the tribulation clouds churned. Rumble! Because Yin Chuan kissed ZZ, the thunder and lightning outside lasted for an incense stick's time. Lu Jin was already in despair. King Yi Mu and the others also looked regretful. After an incense stick's time, the tribulation clouds in the sky slowly receded. The lightning pool was still crackling and flashing, but gradually, the thunder and lightning dissipated into the ground. There was a huge pit that was 50 feet deep. The huge pit was charred black. Everyone thought that Yin Chuan was done for. A voice came from the bottom of the pit. Meow, big hooligan, it's done. Damn it, the tribulation is over. Meow's weak voice came. What? King Yi Mu's expression changed. Is he still alive? Feng Tairan was also ecstatic. Meng Hongying looked at the bottom of the pit in disbelief. A lump of coal seemed to be twisting its body. Whoosh! Meow climbed out of the coal with difficulty. The coal turned over. Yin Chuan's body was charred black. He seemed to be unable to move, but he could still open his eyes. He opened his eyes and looked out of the pit. Ha, he's still alive. Yin Chuan is still alive. Feng Tairan shouted excitedly. That's impossible. How can you still be alive? You're only in the essence state. Meng Hongying exclaimed. Save ZZ. Tell her that I'll come for her. I promise. Yin Chuan said weakly in a hoarse voice. Meng Hongying's expression was strange. Humph. With a cold snort, he flicked his sleeve, and with the spring of life wrapped around ZZ, he soared into the sky. In the blink of an eye, he flew out of Worry-Free City and headed south with ZZ in tow. He disappeared in the blink of an eye. Looking at ZZ's departure, Yin Chuan revealed a gratified smile. At least ZZ was saved. Yin Chuan, are you alright? Feng Tairan flew over. A group of immortal state warriors flew over. I'm severely injured. Prepare some pills for me. Yin Chuan said with a wry smile. Don't worry, I'll give you as much as you need. Feng Tairan shouted excitedly. Congratulations! King Yimu exclaimed. King Yimu, I'll leave the remaining members of Sanyu's sect to you. Don't disappoint me, Yin Chuan said weakly. Although Yin Chuan was extremely weak and his cultivation was pitifully low, King Yimu did not dare to be careless. He was even a little afraid of Yin Chuan. Don't worry, I'll get it done. King Yimu nodded. Meow. Meow meowed weakly. Chapter 393. The fact that Yin Chuan was still alive under the wrath of the heavens was a shock to the immortal state warriors. The king of Hell's palace was destroyed by the heavens, but a new one would soon be born. The overlords of the Day sect led Yin Chuan away as if he was a hero. Only the members of the monster-controlling sect were left behind. King Yi and 3 immortal state warriors stood in front of a pile of rubble. 2 bodies lay on top of the rubble. Zheng Hong and Shang Wuji. Yin Chuan's stellar cycle cultivation method was too powerful. With just one strike, the 2 divine realm experts were no longer able to move. Ha 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 ha, Yin Chuan brat. Yin Chuan brat. Zheng Hong cried out in grief. A year ago, no one dared to look down on Yin Chuan. He was humiliated by the Triyu sect in the Carefree Palace. Even though Yin Chuan was famous as the Blood Demon, he was nothing in the eyes of the immortal state warriors. But now? It had only been a year, and the Triyu sect had been destroyed? Zheng Hong, Yin Chuan is not even 20 years old, but your defeat was justified. King Yi sighed. A year ago, King Yi didn't expect Yin Chuan to be so powerful. I can't accept this. I can't accept this. Zheng Hong roared with bloodshot eyes. Initially, he had the strength of an entire sect, he had the worry-free city under his control. But now he was all alone on the verge of death? I can't accept this. Zheng Hong roared as he channeled the last of his energy to escape. Kill. King Yi didn't need to do anything. The 3 immortal state warriors attacked at the same time. Boom! The struggling Zheng Hong was slain by the 3 great deity realms with a loud bang, dying instantly. Bang! Zheng Hong's body fell to the ground, kicking up a cloud of dust. He was the most powerful cultivator in the Carefree Palace a year ago, but now he was dead. Shang Wuji smiled wryly. Brother Shang, rest in peace. King Yi raised his sword and shouted. King Yi, Shang Wuji said weakly. King Yi glared coldly at Shang Wuji. Back then, when the Triyu sect ostracized your demon-controlling sect, it was my high transcendent sect that had always been biased towards you. Am I right? Shang Wuji smiled bitterly. King Yi raised an eyebrow. This time my Triyu sect was destroyed mainly because of your demon control sect. However, I don't blame you. I know that there's no way out for me. Before I die, I want to ask you for a favor. Shang Wuji said bitterly. Go ahead, Brother Shang. King Yi said in a deep voice. The Shangyu sect must have been destroyed. I'm not begging you to release the Shangyu sect, but I beg you to release my son. Shang'en, I only have one son now. He's the only bloodline of the Shang clan. I beg you, on account of our past relationship, please let him live. Shang Wuji begged. King Wild furrowed his brows. You can cripple his cultivation and make him immortal for the rest of his life. I only beg you to spare his life, I beg you. Shang Wuji begged. Various emotions flashed across King Ye's face as he thought back to the past. In the end, he let out a soft sigh and said, Many thanks. Shang Wuji revealed a gratified expression. Boom! Shang Wuji's body suddenly let out a muffled sound. The 3 immortal state warriors quickly checked. Senior martial brother. Shang Wuji self-destructed his Yuan spirit. He committed suicide. The 3 immortal state warriors exclaimed. After all, we've known each other for many years. Let's bury them properly. King Yi sighed. Yes. With the destruction of the Triyu sect, the Carefree Palace welcomed a round of massacres. The Day sect and the demon-controlling sect both took action to capture and kill the remaining members of the Triyu sect. At the entrance of a busy city, a large number of cultivators gathered around a high platform in the center. On the high platform there were 30 bound cultivator prisoners. They were all pressed to the ground. Chapter 394. Lu Gang stood on the high platform and looked at the people below. Everyone be my witnesses. These 30 people are harboring the remnants of Triyu sect and deserve to die. Today, I will use them to prove the law of Carefree City. Lu Gang shouted coldly. Kill! Lu Gang ordered coldly. The disciples behind him raised their swords. CI. Ah! Under the shocked gazes of the crowd, 30 heads rolled off the stage. Lu Gang looked at the 30 corpses and then at the cultivators below the stage. I know, the Triyu sect has been in the worry-free city for many years, and its disciples are on good terms with many people in the city. We can let bygones be bygones, but anyone who harbored a disciple of the Triyu sect will be killed without mercy. Lu Gang snorted coldly. The cultivators below were shocked. What a vicious person. His name is Lu Gang, right? His temperament is too vicious. Lu Gang's ruthlessness left a deep impression in everyone's heart. However, the effect of the public decapitation was obvious. The subsequent hunt for the remnants of Triyu sect went much smoother. Lu Gang was in charge of investigating and killing along the way. Junior brother Lu. A cultivator ran over. Although Lu Gang's cultivation wasn't high, his vicious methods in the past few days had raised his prestige by quite a bit. That cultivator whispered in Lu Gang's ear. What? Master crippled Shang'en's cultivation and wants to let him go? Lu Gang's face darkened. Yes, junior brother told me to keep an eye on him, so I kept an eye on him. That cultivator said. Stop Shang'en, don't let him escape. Lu Gang ordered coldly. Ah, that was released by the sect master, how can I stop him? What if the sect master blames me? That cultivator was shocked. I will bear all the blame. Go and capture Shang'en. I will go and see the sect master now. Lu Gang said solemnly. All right. That cultivator left with a bitter face. Lu Gang naturally rushed to the Imperial Demon Palace. In the Imperial Demon Palace, there were only King Yimu and Lu Gang. Master, you released Shang'en? Lu Gang asked respectfully. That's right. What's wrong? King Yimu asked calmly. Master, Shang'en is Shangwuji's son. This person is extremely important and sensitive. If we let him go like this, when Yan Chuan recovers, how are we going to answer to him? Lu Gang said worriedly. King Yi glared at Lu Gang and said with a frown, It's my business how I explain myself. I'll explain myself. I've already sent people to intercept Shang'en. Lu Gang said. What? How dare you, Lu Gang? King Wild's eyes turned cold. In the demon-controlling sect, no one dared to disobey him. How dare Lu Gang do that? No, Master, Shang'en cannot be released. He is Shangwuji's son. All the more he should be killed. Not to mention Yan Chuan's intentions, for the sake of our Imperial Demon sect, we cannot release a tiger back into the mountains. Lu Gang knelt down and insisted. Release the tiger back to the mountain? Humph, I've already crippled his cultivation. How can he threaten my demon-controlling sect? King Yimu said coldly. Cutting the weeds without removing the roots, the Triyu sect is the example of my demon control sect. Lu Gang shouted. The Triyu sect? King Wild's face twitched. Master, the Triyu sect also cut the weeds without removing the roots and forced Yan Tao to his death. They didn't go too far and didn't kill Yan Chuan. How many years has it been since then? Master, did anyone think that Yan Chuan was a ferocious tiger? Did anyone think that he was a threat? Lu Gang insisted. King Wild's heart tightened as he sucked in a breath of cold air. My demon-controlling sect has a blood feud with Shang'en. Yan Chuan put my demon-controlling sect in charge of encircling and killing the Triyu sect for the same reason. If the remnants of the Triyu sect rise again, my demon-controlling sect will be the first to bear the brunt of their revenge. It's best if a monster like Yan Chuan doesn't appear. But what if a monster like Yan Chuan is born among the remnants of the Triyu sect? Lu Gang advised. Cold sweat trickled down King Wild's forehead. It was obvious that he regretted his previous soft-heartedness. Master has already released Shang'en. It was Disciple's idea to capture him. Master has already done his best. Leave the rest to Disciple. Lu Gang said solemnly. Looking at Lu Gang kneeling in front of him, King Wild didn't know why, but he felt a sense of horror in his heart. This disciple was too ruthless, too vicious. Fortunately, he was a disciple of the demon-controlling sect. King Yimu sighed softly and said, All right, pass down my orders. The demon-controlling sect's disciples are all under your command during this operation. Yes, Lu Gang said respectfully. Carefree City. City Lord's Mansion, Carefree Hall on the floating island. The plaque of Carefree Hall had been changed to King of Hell's Palace. After Zheng Heng's death, Carefree City no longer had a city lord. Similarly, the Day Sect, the strongest force in the city, had officially moved into the city lord's mansion. Yin Chuan was recuperating here. The doors to the hall were tightly shut. Meow. Meow lazily slept on the roof of the hall, basking in the sun. Inside the hall, Yin Chuan sat cross-legged recuperating. Rumble. The tribulation cloud in his shunting meridian had grown by more than 10 times. Of course, Yin Chuan was the only one who could hear the rumbling sound. The tribulation cloud continuously released lightning, tempering Yin Chuan's body. Boom! A muffled sound came from Yin Chuan's body, and a huge gust of wind blew in all directions. Meow! Meow, who was sleeping on the roof, lifted a tile and immediately crawled in. Whoosh! Meow jumped in front of Yin Chuan. You broke through? Meow said happily. Yes, I'm in the 9th stage of the profound realm. Yin Chuan smiled. Only the 9th stage? That's so slow. I heard from that Zhujiansheng that Huguang had reached the Qi state when he attacked the Sanyu sect. How can you be worse than a subordinate? Meow said. Yin Chuan smiled and said, Huguang has been fighting in the Demon Wind Mountain range for the past year, so his cultivation is naturally faster. Moreover, the Dao that I cultivate is different from his. Keep bragging. Meow said disdainfully. What about you? How much have you recovered? Yin Chuan smiled. Me? More than you. Meow did not mention it. Ha ha, you're still in the strength state. Yin Chuan smiled. Who said it's the strength state? Who said it's the strength state? I've already broken through to the profound realm after suffering the tribulation with you last time. I've already broken through. Meow suddenly became anxious. Alright, LV1 of the profound realm. Yin Chuan smiled. At this moment, Meow realized that Yin Chuan was trying to get information out of her. Pervert. Bad guy. I'm not talking to you anymore. Meow jumped up angrily and jumped onto the roof to sleep under the sun again. Yin Chuan got up. After more than a month of rest, the charred skin on his body had disappeared and he was as good as new again. However, he had just broken through and his body was covered in sweat. He opened the door to the main hall. Lu Jin was waiting outside. Your Majesty, the hot water is ready. Please take a bath and change your clothes. Lu Jin said respectfully. Okay. Your Majesty, Huguang is back. Lu Jin said respectfully. Tell him to come and see me after I take a bath and change my clothes. Yin Chuan nodded. Chapter 395. Day Sect, Great River Hall. Feng Tairan sat in the main seat, surrounded by a group of Divine Realm experts. This time, the 4 of you have worked hard. Feng Tairan said to Duan Sanshu and the 3 Peak Lords. Their faces were slightly pale, but overall they were fine. Duan Sanshu smiled faintly. We're fine. We only delayed those 3 Divine Realm experts for a few days. More importantly, you guys were fast enough in the Carefree City and came to our aid. Otherwise, we would have been worried that they would run away. The 3 Serenities sect was annihilated. Everyone has done their best. Our Carefree City's tax revenue will be doubled. And the rise of the Day sect is just around the corner. Feng Tairan laughed. That's right. Doubling the resources means that the spirit stones allocated to us will double every year. It's beneficial to our cultivation. Gao Bufan laughed. Feng Tianyu frowned slightly. Father, why is it only doubled? Feng Tianyu asked with a frown. Feng Tairan was confused. Yin Chuan is now the Carefree City's castellan. Since everyone agreed, I won't object. However, our Day sect went all out to help the 3 Serenities sect. Why is it only doubled? Feng Tianyu frowned. That's right, Sect Master, we should have gotten more. What's going on now? The Carefree City's tax revenue is divided into 15 portions. 4 for the Imperial Monster sect, 5 for the Day sect, and 6 for Yin Chuan alone? Why is Yin Chuan taking so much? Another Divine Realm expert asked. Yin Chuan wants to use the tax revenue to raise an army. Feng Tairan explained. Raise an army? That group of mercenaries? Why? Feng Tianyu frowned. That's right, isn't it a waste? Our day sect is already the biggest sect in Carefree City. Why do we need to raise an army? Besides, why is Yan Chuan taking more tax revenue than our entire day sect? Another Divine Realm expert said solemnly. Enough. Feng Tyrant's face sank. Everyone fell silent. Peak Masters of the Three Peaks, those who oppose my decision please speak. Feng Tyrant looked at the Peak Masters of the Three Peaks. Gao Bufan and Imo Wuhui remained silent. Feng Tianyu opened his mouth to speak, but he swallowed the words that were about to come out of his mouth. Feng Tyrant looked at the crowd and said, since the 4 Peak Masters have agreed, then this old man's decision will not change. The decision-making power of the day sect belongs to me and the 4 Peak Masters. If you want to make decisions, then give up on traveling outside and compete for the position of Peak Master in the sect. When you become a Peak Master, then you can participate in making decisions. There was a moment of silence. Everyone was used to being free. There were countless wonders in the world. Everyone wanted to travel and explore the world, seeking to break through to a higher level. They didn't have to worry about the matters of the sect, and they also had a fixed amount of spirit stones. How good was that? With less responsibility came less authority. They were not allowed to participate in the decision-making process. If you want to make a decision now, don't go out? Everyone could only shut their mouths in embarrassment. Seeing that everyone had stopped talking, Feng Tyrant said, it's already twice as much as before. Everyone should be content. I, Feng Tyrant, will definitely not do anything that will let down the day sect. I guarantee with my life that Yan Chuan will not do so either. Yes, everyone finally accepted this reality. Carefree City, City Lord's Mansion, King of Hell's Palace. Yan Chuan sat high up. Hu Guang bowed respectfully to Yan Chuan. Congratulations, my king, on becoming the City Lord of Carefree City, annihilating the Tri-Yu sect, and making a name for yourself. Hu Guang smiled respectfully. In this battle you also contributed greatly. Yan Chuan smiled. Chapter 396. It's all thanks to the king's teachings. Hu Guang said sincerely. The annihilation of the San Yu sect didn't go well, did it? Yan Chuan asked. Yes, there were about 15,000 disciples in the San Yu sect. The main problem was that there were too many Qi realm experts, so it was very difficult. The First Legion lost about 4,000 men. Hu Guang sighed. It's inevitable that there will be casualties on the battlefield. The annihilation of the San Yu sect took a lot of spiritual stones and resources. Don't be stingy. Prepare enough compensation and continue to recruit soldiers in Carefree City. Keep it around 40,000. Yan Chuan said. Yes. Hu Guang replied. How's the morale of the First Legion? Yan Chuan smiled. In this year we slaughtered all the monsters in the Devil Wind Mountains and ate countless monsters. Our soldiers' cultivation has increased, and we even have spiritual stones to earn. They are in a much better condition than the mercenaries. The morale of the soldiers is high, and many of them are clamoring to extend the 1-year agreement. Hu Guang said excitedly. How many Qi realm experts are there? Yan Chuan asked. In this year 12 of them broke through to the Qi realm, but none of them were my match. They are now holding important positions in the army. Hu Guang said respectfully. You are the Legion commander. Of course you have to suppress everyone. Yan Chuan smiled. Yes. Lu Jin, what about the Demon Slayer sect? Yan Chuan looked at Lu Jin. My king, the Demon Slayer sect worked very hard this time. King Mai put Lu Gang in charge of annihilating the remaining members of the San Yu sect. Lu Gang was very ruthless. Many of them were killed in public. His methods were vicious. Many people were afraid, so it went very smoothly. Lu Jin said respectfully. Oh, in the mortal world, Yi Feng also sent over some information. In the information, Lu Gang was a ruthless person when he was young. He was also good at currying favor. But after reaching the full mastery of the strength realm, he stopped participating in many things. As a consecrated, he lived like a prince. It has a certain amount of intelligence, but not much. Lu Jin said. Back when you were in the strength realm, you were able to trick the essence realm demonic snake into working for you. It seems that you are quite clever. Yan Chuan nodded. Feng's evaluation of him is that he's capable of doing things, but not enough to plan the world. Lu Jin said respectfully. I got it. Yin Chuan nodded. Your Majesty, when will your Majesty establish your country? Hu Guang asked curiously. Yin Chuan thought for a moment and decided not to hide anything. There's still more than 2 years to 3 years before the Heavenly Bestowal Conference at the Julu Academy. At that time I'm going to fight for something. When I come back, I'll establish a dynasty. Oh, Hu Guang nodded. Therefore, in the following period of time you must train the First Legion well. After the establishment of the nation, we will have many things to do. Yin Chuan said in a deep voice. Yes, your subject will do his best. Hu Guang replied. Yin Chuan nodded. It had been a month since the grand siege of the Three Serenities sect ended. Carefree City regained its peace once again. However, the topic that countless practitioners were discussing the most was the city lord of Carefree City. Yin Chuan, 20 years old? A mere 20 years old city lord. In the entire world, other than some wealthy second generations of large sects, who could compare to Yin Chuan? It was said that the destruction of the Three Serenities sect was single-handedly facilitated by Yin Chuan. Although he was young, Yin Chuan had won the respect of the entire city. Walking on the streets, many practitioners would pay their respects to Yin Chuan. Because of Miao, many practitioners even imitated Yin Chuan and found kittens as their own demonic pets, showing the same taste as the city lord. On this day, Yin Chuan carried Miao on his shoulder and walked out of the drunken Immortal Inn. Chapter 397. Miao said lazily, thinking of Sister Zizi again? Coming to her shop to drink again? What do you know? Yin Chuan joked. I know everything. I'm the smartest Miao. Miao said proudly. Just as Yin Chuan and Miao were bickering, Lu Jin rushed over from afar. My king, someone from the City Lord Manor is here. Lu Jin said respectfully. Oh, Yin Chuan was puzzled. It's Qing Long. He's here on behalf of Miss Mo. Lu Jin said. Let's go back. Yin Chuan nodded. Miss Mo? Who's Miss Mo? And who's Qing Long? Miao asked curiously. The saintess of the Dazhao Holy Land, Mo Yushi. Qing Long is one of Miss Mo's 4 attendants. Lu Jin explained kindly. Saintess? Mo Yushi? What's going on? Miao. Miao's eyes lit up. Her gossipy soul was burning. Enough. Yin Chuan stopped Miao from asking random questions. Miao, tell me, what's your relationship with Mo Yushi? Why is a saintess looking for you? Miao asked anxiously. If you make any more noise, I won't bring you back. Yin Chuan said. If you don't bring me back, I'll go back by myself. Miao. Miao said disdainfully. In front of the king of hell's palace, Yin Chuan and Lu Jin returned. Miao sat on Yin Chuan's shoulder and looked curiously at the 3 people in front of the palace. Hu Guang was currently receiving the 2 figures, one green and one white. They were Mo Yushi's 2 subordinates, Qing Long and Bai Hu. Seeing that Yin Chuan had returned, the 2 immediately stepped forward. Greetings, Prince Yen. There was a hint of joy in their expressions. How did you find me? Yin Chuan asked curiously. Prince Yen is indeed not an ordinary person. Now that we're here, we just have to ask around and we'll know where Prince Yen is. Qing Long said excitedly. That's right. Big Brother and I were prepared to rest in Worry-Free City for a while before heading to Beijing. However, everyone in Worry-Free City was talking about Prince Yan's miraculous abilities. At that time, I thought that it was someone else with the same name. To think that it was really Prince Yan. White Tiger is impressed. Miao's expression suddenly changed. Prince Yan. White Tiger was about to say something when he was interrupted. Miao, what did you just say? Miao stood up immediately. I just realized that Prince Yan, this little cat, can talk. It's true. Cat, your sister. You're the cat. Your whole family are cats. Miao immediately scolded. White Tiger's expression stiffened. He's not a cat. He's a tiger. You've got the wrong person. Also, Miao, you can't be rude. Yin Chuan said. Oh, so it's a tiger. It was a slip of the tongue. White Tiger smiled apologetically. Say it again. What's your name? Meow said sternly. My name is White Tiger. What's wrong? White Tiger was confused. White Tiger, your uncle. You're a human. How can you be a white tiger? Meow suddenly shouted. White Tiger's expression stiffened again. It's just a name. Meow, stop fooling around. Yin Chuan said. No, he's not allowed to be called White Tiger. I'm the White Tiger. Don't call me that, don't call me that. Meow shouted. Everyone. It's just a name. Meow, don't be so overbearing. Yin Chuan frowned. This isn't overbearing. This is a matter of principle. If he's a white tiger, what am I? Meow shouted. Principle? Yin Chuan was amused. This is a matter of principle. It's like you have a donkey and you call it human every day. Do you think you're insulting the donkey or yourself? Meow insisted. Yin Chuan was stunned by this line of thought. Meow was right. Looking at things from a different perspective was different. Yin Chuan turned his head to look at White Tiger, who was about to meet a tragic end. White Tiger looked confused. Donkey? Chapter 398. White Tiger. I think you should change your name. After a long debate, the Azure Dragon looked at the aggrieved White Tiger with a conflicted expression. Change my name. White Tiger looked at Qing Long with a sad face. This is too much. Meow. Meow nodded insistently. White Tiger looked at Meow, who was wearing a small felt hat. Her originally cute image was now a bad person. Big brother, this name was given by the saint. If I change it, no. White Tiger was still making a final struggle. It's okay, I'll tell Imoyushi. Yin Chuan interrupted. White Tiger. White Tiger knew how important Yin Chuan was in Imoyushi's heart. During this period, although Imoyushi didn't say it out loud, her attitude showed that she missed Yin Chuan. Change? White Tiger wanted to cry but had no tears. How did this happen? Change it, a name is just a code. Qing Long persuaded again. Big brother. White Tiger was at a loss. Change it, you're insulting Meow's personality. No, Meow's tiger character. Qing Long persuaded again. White Tiger wanted to bang his head against the wall, but could only nod. Then if I don't call myself White Tiger, what should I call myself? White Tiger said gloomily. Meow. So many names, little white, little tiger by little tiger, who by. Meow suddenly became happy. White Tiger. What do you want to be called? Qing Long asked. I'll be called Dragon like Big Brother. I'll be called Bai Long. White Tiger gloomily chose a name for himself. Okay, Bai Long. Qing Long smiled and nodded. Bai Long? Not bad. Meow complimented. Bai Long looked at Meow and unconsciously took a step back. This was a little devil. I haven't seen you for 2 years and you've already reached the emptiness realm? Yin Chuan looked at Qing Long and sighed. Yes, thanks to Prince Yan's help last time. I have reached the emptiness realm, and so has the Saintess. Bai Long will be there soon. Qing Long said with a smile. Yes, please come in. Yin Chuan invited with a smile. Actually, we're here to invite Prince Yan on behalf of the Holy Maiden. Qing Long didn't enter the hall. Instead, he spoke concisely. Oh, Yin Chuan asked doubtfully. We've received news that a great treasure might have appeared in the ruins of the Undying Holy Land. The Holy Maiden wants to fight for it. So we'd like your help. Qing Long said solemnly. Undying Holy Land? What do you mean? Yin Chuan asked curiously. 6,000 years ago, the most powerful sect in the East wasn't my Dazhao Holy Land, but the Undying Holy Land. However, for some reason the Undying Holy Land was destroyed. After the Undying Holy Land was destroyed, my Dazhao Holy Land rose and became the new Holy Land. Qing Long explained. A destroyed Holy Land? The ruins of the Undying Holy Land? What news did you get? Yin Chuan asked doubtfully. Rumor has it that 5 months ago, multicolored light soared into the sky from the Undying Holy Land. Although no one knows why, they all understand that there must be a heavenly treasure that caused the multicolored light to soar into the 9 heavens. Thinking about the location of that place, it must be a huge treasure left behind by the Undying Holy Land 6,000 years ago. Oh, Yin Chuan asked doubtfully. Some experts from my Dazhao Holy Land have already gone there, including Mr. Monroe. However, this time they are assisting Guyu Holy Sun. Not only Guyu Holy Sun, but other holy sons and saintesses of the Dazhao Holy Land have also gone there. The saintess wants to ask for your help, Qinglong explained. Chapter 399. Qinglong looked at Yan Chuan as if he was worried that Yan Chuan would reject him. The treasure of the Undying Sanctuary? Is it far? I'm going to participate in the Julu Academy's Heavenly Bestowal Conference. I'm worried that it'll be too late. Yan Chuan said rationally. It's not too late. There's still time. The saint is also planning to go and it's on the way. We'll definitely make it. Qinglong said. On the way. Yes, the ruins of the Undying Sanctuary are on the way to the Julu Academy. Bailong said. Dalu. Yan Chuan, you have nothing to do in Carefree City. Let's go and take a look. There might be a lot of spiritual stones there. Miao's eyes lit up. Yan Chuan thought for a while and finally nodded. All right. That's great. With Prince Yan around, we'll definitely get the treasure. Qinglong smiled. Aha, yes. Even if we can't get the treasure, the saint will be very happy with Prince Yan around. Bailong also laughed. Miao? The saint will be happy? What do you mean? Miao's gossipy soul was ignited again. Unfortunately, White Tiger's heart had just been broken by Miao Miao, so it ignored Miao Miao. Big guy, tell me. Miao said anxiously. Humph. Bailong ignored her. Stingy guy. Miao said helplessly. Bailong's face twitched. He was determined to stay away from Miao. Huguang. Yan Chuan turned to Huguang. Yes, Your Majesty. Huguang said solemnly. I'll be away for a few years. From today onwards, you'll be the acting mayor of Carefree City. When I'm not around, you'll be in charge of Carefree City. Guard Carefree City well. Yan Chuan said solemnly. This subject is not going? Huguang asked in surprise. Yan Chuan smiled and said, you can already be independent. In the future, take good care of the First Legion. Yes. Huguang replied solemnly. My king, what about that old slave? Lu Jin asked worriedly. You? You stay as well. During this period of time, you will be in charge of the various tedious preparations for establishing the nation. Once I return, I will establish the nation. Yan Chuan said solemnly. Yes. Lu Jin nodded. King, this space scroll. Lu Jin took off the space scroll on her back. There's no need for that. Miao's hat is also a spatial treasure. There's a space inside. Don't worry. I've already pacified this place. Just wait for me to come back and establish my country. Yan Chuan smiled. Yes. The two of them answered. Yan Chuan left behind a few more letters and took some things. Then he brought Miao Qinglong and Bailong and soared into the sky. On a white cloud, Qinglong and Bailong brought Yan Chuan and flew quickly. Prince Yan, the saintess is waiting for us in Ice Snow City. Let's go there and meet up with the saintess first. Qinglong said. Yan Chuan nodded. The group flew for a month. After passing through countless regions, they finally arrived at Ice Snow City. When they reached the outskirts of the city, Yan Chuan called for Qinglong to stop. At a glance, it was a boundless snowfield. In the distance, in the middle of the snowfield, there was a huge white city. A large number of cultivators entered and exited the city. At a glance, the city was slightly bigger than Carefree City. There's so much snow, Miao said in surprise. The sky was filled with snow. It was extremely strange. Other than this snowfield, the temperature in the outer regions was not high at all. It was extremely abrupt to appear in the snow-covered region. This is Ice Snow City. We don't know why either. Anyway, the surroundings are covered in snow all year round. Seems like it has been here for a few thousand years. It has always been like this. Qinglong was puzzled. This Ice Snow City actually belongs to the saintess. Bailong smiled. Chapter 400. Oh, I heard that it used to belong to the saintess's father. After the saintess's father died, this place was naturally inherited by the saintess. Other sects would not dare to have any ideas about the property of the Dazhao sacred ground. Qinglong said proudly. Let's go. Yan Chuan nodded. This area was covered in ice and snow. But the temperature was not enough to freeze Yin Chuan. The group arrived at the entrance of Ice Snow City in the blink of an eye. Ice Snow City originally belonged to Mo Yuxi, so the guards naturally did not dare to stop Qinglong's group. After entering the city, the interior of the city was similar to Carefree City, but there were more features of ice crystals. It was extremely beautiful. The group quickly flew to a huge floating island in the center. On the floating island, the palaces were all made of ice crystals. It was extremely dreamy. Greetings to the Qinglong Guard and the White Tiger Guard. A large number of guards came over and greeted respectfully. Bai Long's face flushed red. Clearly, he remembered the heartache of being forced to change his name a month ago. You may leave. Qinglong Guard waved his hand. Yes. Everyone retreated. The group arrived at the center of Ice Snow Palace. I will go and call the Saintess, Qinglong said. I will go too. Bai Long shouted. Meow. Coward. Meow said disdainfully. Yin Chuan smiled and nodded. After Qinglong and Bai Long left, Yin Chuan walked around. Many servants looked at Yin Chuan curiously. In the city, other than the Saintess, Qinglong and the White Tiger were next. However, the two of them were so polite to this man who was carrying a kitten. Who was he? Yin Chuan walked and walked. Suddenly, his expression changed. Meow? Big hooligan, what happened to you? Meow hugged a spirit stone and asked curiously. Don't talk. Let me be alone. Yin Chuan shook his head. Yin Chuan stood in front of Ice Snow Palace with his eyes closed. Buzz. Yin Chuan felt his bloodline tremble slightly. It was extremely light. If Yin Chuan's spirit was only at the essence realm, he wouldn't be able to sense it. However, although Yin Chuan's cultivation was at the essence realm, his willpower and spirit were at the emptiness realm. His sense of self was different from that of others. A slight tremor in his bloodline? Why was it trembling? It was so weak that he almost couldn't feel it. My bloodline? Did his bloodline sense something in Ice Snow City? Could it be related to my bloodline? Yin Chuan frowned. Buzz. The more he sensed, the weaker the trembling of the bloodline became. Meow also stopped eating spirit stones and looked at Yin Chuan curiously. No, it's not my bloodline that's sensing something. Something is sensing my bloodline. Someone or something is sensing my bloodline. I'm the passive party, and the other party is the one sensing it. He's sensing me? And he's directly sensing my bloodline? Yin Chuan was surprised and guessed the possibility. At this moment, Qinglong and Bai Long walked over again. Prince Yen, the Saintess, went ahead with Rosefinch and Xuanwu because of something. She asked the housekeeper to inform us. If the Saintess doesn't appear, we'll go there ourselves. Qinglong smiled bitterly. Yin Chuan slowly opened his eyes. Prince Yen, why are you standing here with your eyes closed? Bai Long asked curiously. I want to stay here for a few days. Yin Chuan shook his head and said. Ah. Qinglong and Bai Long were surprised. Please help me look for the history of Ice Snow City. I want to take a look. Can we go to the ruins of the Immortal Sacred Land in a few days? Yin Chuan said in a deep voice. Okay, no problem. After all, no one has found the treasures of the Immortal Sacred Land yet. Qinglong nodded strangely. Bai Long also looked at Yin Chuan in confusion. How about this? Bai Long, go to Mo Yuxi first and tell her that I'll be late. Yin Chuan thought for a while and said. All right. Bai Long, do as Prince Yen says. Qinglong nodded. Chapter 401. How about this? Bai Long, go to Mo Yuxi first and tell her that I will be late. Yin Chuan said after thinking for a while. That's good too. Bai Long, do as Prince Yen says. Qinglong nodded. But, no buts. The Saintess said that when she's not here, listen to Prince Yen. Moreover, with me here, no one can hurt Prince Yen. Qinglong said in a low voice. Okay. Bai Long nodded. After Bai Long left, Yin Chuan stayed in the Ice Palace. In the Ice Palace, Yin Chuan sat cross-legged with his eyes closed, constantly sensing the outside world. He stayed there for 2 days. However, he still couldn't find where the feeling came from. Meow. Meow lifted the roof tiles and jumped into the palace from the roof, waking Yin Chuan up. What's wrong? Yin Chuan asked curiously. Yesterday, you read that Ice Snow City suddenly appeared about 5 to 6,000 years ago. Today, I looked around and found that this Ice Snow City seems to be a city guard. Meow said. City guard? What's a city guard? Yin Chuan asked curiously. It's a city of ice and snow. What is it trying to do? Meow Meow said. Oh, really? A city guard? Yin Chuan was surprised. Yes, I have recovered some of my memories. I remember that there is such a method. The thing you are looking for might be under Ice Snow City. Meow said after thinking for a while. Under Ice Snow City? Logically speaking, after thousands of years, if there is something underground, it should have been discovered long ago. Yin Chuan didn't understand. No, this city guard is not ordinary. It requires a huge amount of power. It's not a mortal method. Meow recalled. Immortal? Yin Chuan's eyes lit up. Meow thought for a moment and said, at the very least, it was an immortal who used great power to open up a space and then used Ice Snow City to attack. Therefore, the thing that was attacked was not underground but in a new space under the city. Then how do we break it? Yin Chuan asked. Destroy the city. Meow confirmed. Yin Chuan nodded. Sensing one's bloodline was also an extraordinary method. Even Yin Chuan couldn't do it in his previous life. Now that something was sensing him, it was related to him. Yin Chuan had to figure it out. With Meow by his side, Yin Chuan stood up and opened the door to the hall. As soon as the door opened, he heard the noise from the outside world. Emoishi, come out. I'm Yang Zigu. A loud shout came from outside the palace. Yang Zigu? Yin Chuan's expression changed slightly. It was the son of Mohina Dojin who went with Mo Yushi to the Feng Shui formation. When the door opened, Yin Chuan immediately saw Qinglong blocking 5 figures. The leader was Yang Zhijiu, and there were 4 attendants behind him. When the door opened, Yang Zigu's face was filled with joy. However, when he saw Yin Chuan, his pupils shrank. Yin Chuan, why are you here? Yang Zigu said with a gloomy face. Young Master Yang, I already said that the Saintess is not here. The Saintess has already gone to the ruins of the Immortal Sanctum. Qinglong smiled bitterly. What about him? Why is he here? Yang Zigu looked at Yin Chuan unhappily. The Immortal Sanctum may have a Feng Shui formation. Young Master Yang is proficient in Feng Shui, so the Saintess invited Prince Yan. Unfortunately, when I brought Prince Yan back, the Saintess had already left. Qinglong explained. Hearing this explanation, Yang Zigu secretly sighed, but still looked at Yin Chuan impatiently. In that case, let's go, Yang Zigu said. Chapter 402. Young Master Yang, you can go there by yourself. There are many people from the Dazhao Holy Ground there. It seems that your brother, Guyu Holy Sun, is also there. You don't have to wait for us. Qinglong smiled. Guyu? Yang Zigu showed a hint of displeasure. I'll follow you. Are you going or not? Yang Zigu said coldly. I'm very sorry. The Saintess has plans for me. I won't leave until I'm done with my business. Qinglong said directly. You, how dare you? Yang Zigu shouted angrily. Young Master Yang, please understand that I only listen to the Saintess. The others, including the 3 Dao Lords, have no right to order me around. Qinglong said with a solemn expression. You humph. Yang Zigu snorted coldly again. Young Master Yang, why don't you all go first? Qinglong persuaded again. No, I'll follow you. If you leave, I'll leave. Yang Zigu said stubbornly. All right. Then young Master Yang can stay here for a few days. Qinglong said helplessly. Yang Zigu left slowly with his 4 subordinates. Prince Yan, I'm sorry to have startled you. Qinglong said with a smile. No worries. Why is Yang Zigu here? Yin Chuan asked curiously. Yang Zigu? He has been pestering the Saintess. He should take a piss and look in the mirror. Is he worthy? The Saintess has never shown him any respect. It's a pity that he's too thick-skinned. Qinglong said disdainfully. Yin Chuan nodded. Prince Yan, have you found what you want? Qinglong asked doubtfully. Almost, but the price is not small. Yin Chuan smiled bitterly. Oh. I want to push down the 4 walls of Ice Snow City and break into the city. Yin Chuan said in a deep voice. Ah. Qinglong looked at Yan Chuan in shock. Can't I? Then I'll convince Miss Mo when I see her. Yan Chuan sighed slightly. No, I can. Qinglong looked at Yan Chuan with a conflicted expression. Oh, although the Saintess isn't the strongest in the Dazhao Holy Land, she has a lot of properties. In terms of cities, the Saintess has as many as 8. The Saintess will definitely be able to take out this city. Moreover, even if we destroy the city wall, no sect will dare to have any ideas about us. We can just rebuild the city wall in the future. Qinglong said with certainty. All right, thanks a lot. Yan Chuan smiled. Prince Yan is so serious. There must be something very important to Prince Yan. The Saintess has instructed us to listen to everything Prince Yan says. I will do my best to assist. Qinglong said. Yan Chuan nodded. Qinglong would personally make the arrangements. Although the guards in the city didn't understand, they still did as they were told. Boom! The ceiling array of Ice Snow City was removed. Qinglong brought Yan Chuan and flew into the sky. On the peak of a mountain not far away, Yang Zigu and 4 attendants were also staring at Qinglong rumble. The cultivators in the surroundings were continuously removing the array on Ice Snow City's walls. Is Qinglong crazy? Yang Zigu looked at the sky not far away in shock. Seems like he wants to destroy the city? I wonder how the Saintess Mo Yushi is going to punish him. One of the attendants shouted. Yan Chuan and Qinglong were waiting in the sky. The removal of the array in Ice Snow City shocked the entire city. Countless citizens put down everything they were doing and looked around. Prince Yan, the 4 people beside Yang Zigu are his attendants. Among the 4 of them, Dongyang, Nanyang, Xiang and Beiyang. Dongyang's cultivation is the highest. He is in the divine realm. The other 3 are in the Qi realm. Qinglong explained. Yan Chuan looked below and nodded lightly. Chapter 403. The entire city obeyed the order. In less than 2 hours, all the formations were withdrawn. The world suddenly became colder. The cold wind whistled and snow swirled in the air. I was right, wasn't I? This is a town. If the fog gets weaker, the snow will get heavier. Miao said confidently. Qinglong looked at Miao in surprise. He just found out that this broken city was actually Miao's idea. Where did this Miao come from? Let's begin. Yan Chuan said. Qinglong nodded. Break! Qinglong shouted in all directions. His voice instantly spread throughout Ice Snow City. Boom! 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 The sound of many Xiuzha attacking came from all directions. The enormous impact quickly destroyed Ice City, which had 5,000 to 6,000 years of history. Rumble! A large number of city walls collapsed. The frost was getting bigger and bigger. So cold. Why is it so cold? I can't take it anymore. I'm leaving the city. The people quickly dodged in shock. More and more city walls collapsed, and the city grew colder and colder. Under the former city lord manor, snow and fog gathered, forming a giant whirlpool. Meow, it's there. Meow said excitedly. Young Master Yang, look what's going on over there. One of Yang Zigu's attendants called out. Who? Yan Chuan, Qinglong, Yang Zigu, and the others quickly flew towards the center. Rumble! The ice and snow danced and formed a huge whirlpool. In the center of the whirlpool there seemed to be a huge entrance. Buzz! Yan Chuan felt that the feeling had become even stronger. Qinglong, please guard the entrance for me. I'll go in and take a look. Yan Chuan said solemnly. Be careful. Qinglong nodded. Who? Yan Chuan jumped into the cave with Miao. As soon as he landed, he heard noises from the outside world. Qinglong, get out of the way. Yang Zigu's voice rang out. Young Master Yang, please conduct yourself with dignity. Qinglong immediately stopped him. Why did you let Yan Chuan in? Why can he enter? Yang Zigu roared angrily. Qinglong still looked at them coldly and said, with me here, none of you can think about going in. Get out of my way. Yang Zigu roared. Rumble. Rumbling sounds came from the outside, but Yan Chuan did not care about the outside world and continued to walk inside. Below it was like a crystal chamber with a large number of stairs. Yan Chuan followed the stairs and walked step by step into the depths, being careful of unknown mechanisms. Unfortunately, there were no traps along the way. Finally, they reached the end. There were a large number of night-luminescent pearls in the surroundings. It was a huge sealed secret room. Ah! Meow exclaimed. The secret room was very simple and empty. There were only two special things in the room. On the wall of the secret room, there was a long bronze saber. The handle was wide and thick, but the tip of the saber had a beautiful arc. It was a long saber that was filled with ferocity. On the long saber, two words suddenly appeared. Green kill. Although there was no aura, Yin Chuan could feel the weight of the saber. It was no weaker than his Jade Emperor sword. The green kill saber was stuck on the wall, and there was a line of words that seemed to be carved by fingers on the wall. From today onwards, you are the new saber demon. The line of words was filled with dominance. Just by looking at it, one would feel like they were being stabbed by thousands of sabers. It was very oppressive. Of course, this was not the reason why Meow exclaimed. In other words, Meow did not see the scene here. Meow was looking at the center of the secret room. There was a 3-foot-long cube of ice. A woman in white was sealed in the ice. She stared at the green kill saber on the wall motionless. The woman had long hair, starry eyes and sharp eyebrows. Although she was not a peerless beauty, she had a heroic aura. She should be a strong-willed woman. However, although the woman was sealed in ice, her eyes showed that she was crying before she was sealed in ice. She was motionless in the ice coffin for who knows how long. Yin Chuan's senses came from this frozen woman. Is she sensing me? Chapter 404. Meow, is this the person? Meow asked in surprise. That's right, she's the one who's sensing me. Yin Chuan said gravely. She sensed you? Why is she sensing you? She's still alive? Meow. Meow exclaimed. Crash. The huge ice coffin seemed to be melting quickly. Soon, a layer of melted water overflowed from the bottom. The seal on the city has been broken, and the spell on the ice is gone. The ice coffin is going to melt, and she's coming out. Meow said. Crash. The ice coffin melted faster and faster. Gradually, the woman was revealed. Buzz. The woman trembled slightly as if she could move. Buzz. The woman twitched as if she had just woken up from a frozen environment. Alive, she's really still alive. Meow. Pa 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 pa. More and more of the ice melted, and the woman fell straight to the ground. Yin Chuan didn't go forward to help him. Instead, he looked on coldly. The woman twitched and gradually regained her ability to move. Cough 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 cough. He let out a series of long coughs, as if he was coughing out warm air. Gently, the woman stood up shakily. He stared at the bronze knife stuck in the wall. He staggered forward. Buzz. The bronze saber trembled slightly, as if it had sensed the woman's presence and was vibrating with joy. The woman did not look at the saber but at the words on the wall. From today onwards, you are the new blade demon. The woman reached out with her right hand and touched a line of words on the wall. Father, why is this happening? The woman cried out in pain. As he had just woken up, his throat had yet to recover, so it was still very hoarse. After crying for a while, the woman decisively pulled out the bronze knife that was stuck in the wall. Boom! The woman's strength was very great. With a pull, the fierce and long bronze saber appeared in her hand. He stroked the words Qing Sha on the bronze saber. Father, we really shouldn't have come here. We really shouldn't have come here. You said that my saber nature is stronger than yours. But before, your daughter was too naughty. The woman said painfully. The woman's eyes turned cold. She grabbed the long saber with one hand and pulled her long hair with the other. She pulled the long saber towards her long hair. Bang! The beautiful long hair was instantly cut off by the woman, turning it into short hair. Furthermore, she cut the words on the wall. Father, this is absolutely irreconcilable. Father, I will avenge you. I swear in the name of the new Blade Devil, that there will be a day when I will kill all my enemies and kill everything. The woman's eyes revealed a malevolent expression. Roar! The woman snorted. Who? The woman turned her head and looked at Yin Chuan with hostility in her eyes. Screech! With the Jade Emperor's sword out, Yin Chuan looked at the woman coldly. I can sense you. Are you Yin Zizai's descendant? The woman asked in a low voice. My name is Yin Chuan. I don't know who Yin Zizai is. You? Do you know any super divine abilities? The woman asked in a low voice. Taking a deep breath, Yin Chuan nodded and said, That's right. This is the super Shan that I inherited from my bloodline. Then there's no mistake. This super Shan was created by Yin Zizai. You must be his descendant. Father placed a lead in my bloodline, and what he sensed was actually Yin Zizai's bloodline. Why did father do that? The woman asked in confusion. Super Shan? Yin Zizai? Yin Chuan could probably believe what the woman said. After all, super Shan was very secretive. You know my ancestor? Yin Chuan asked solemnly. Sword demon Yin Zizai. My father is the blade demon. The two of them used to be close friends. Since you're the descendant of sword demon Yin Zizai, you'll be responsible for protecting me for a month, the woman said bluntly. Chapter 405. Who are you? Yin Chuan asked with a frown. My father is dead. I am the new blade demon. You can call me Empress. The woman said coldly. Empress? Meow. Meow looked at the woman in shock. Put away your sword. The Empress said lightly. Yin Chuan looked at the woman and finally nodded. He put the sword back into the sheath on his back. This is one of the swords in the set, right? The woman said lightly. Yin Chuan squinted his eyes. Don't look at me like that. My father and Yin Zizai often went out. I followed them. Naturally, I know something about swords. The Empress said in a deep voice. No? How did you know? Yin Chuan said seriously. The Emperor's eyesight was too exaggerated. Until now, no one had been able to tell that the Jade Emperor's sword was actually one of a set of swords. No one knew, but the Emperor in front of him had seen through it with a single sentence. Your sword has been refined to perfection. For most sword cultivators, their initial swords were extremely crude. As their cultivation increased, they would constantly perfect the sword that was suitable for them, making it more and more suitable for them. But your sword is different. Your sword is not rough. With your cultivation in the essence realm, you have this sword, but it is not someone else's sword. It must be a set of swords that you want to refine. The Empress said in a deep voice. The Empress did not say how she knew that the sword was not someone else's, but it was enough. Meow, is she right? Meow looked at Yin Chuan curiously. Yin Chuan did not answer, but his silence said everything. Yin Zizai once said that it is very difficult to refine a set of swords. Many sets of swords are neither fish nor fowl. It is better to specialize in one sword. But once it is formed, its power is not something that can be replaced by one sword. Yin Zizai refined this set of swords. The Empress said lightly. Since you're from the same era as my ancestor, why do you need me to protect you for a month? Yin Chuan asked in a deep voice. I've been sealed here by my father for so many years that I've lost most of my cultivation. I need a month to recover some of it. You only need to protect me. I don't need you to help me break through. The Emperor said coldly. From the very beginning, the Emperor's expression was incomparably cold. Yin Chuan coldly looked at the Emperor. After a long period of silence, Xiao Chen digested the information that the Sovereign Emperor just revealed and analyzed everything. The Emperor also waited quietly. All right. Yin Chuan finally nodded. Divine ability? Yin Chuan knew very well that this was something that only immortals could create. Could his ancestor, Yin Zizai, create a divine ability? Didn't that mean that Yin Zizai was already an immortal at that time? This woman's cultivation was unknown at that time, but it was definitely not low. It was just like him. Even though he had lost all his cultivation in his previous life, he still had the power to fight back against the strong. This woman was the same. It was not suitable for her to take risks. Why not do her a favor? Let's go. There's nothing in here. Let's get out of here as soon as possible. I still have to investigate my father's death back then. The Emperor said coldly. Okay. Yin Chuan nodded. The two of them and the cat slowly retreated along the path that they came from. Along the way, the woman's expression was incomparably cold. When they reached the exit, Qinglong, how dare you hit my people? How dare you hit Dongyang? Yang Zigu's noisy voice could be heard. Yin Chuan and the emperor stepped out of the ice cave and immediately saw the scene outside. A large number of strong cultivators had already rushed over, but they all looked from afar and did not dare to step forward. Only Yang Zigu and his group dared to offend Qinglong. Yang Zigu's 4 subordinates were lying on the ground. Obviously, they were seriously injured. Yang Zigu and Qinglong were tit for tat. When the two of them walked out, the original conflict suddenly stopped. They looked at each other in surprise. Chapter 406. Huh. Another one? Yang Zigu looked at the emperor in surprise. One had to know that Yan Chuan was the only one who had entered earlier. Why was there another one? Qinglong was also surprised. 7 days later, in a forest, Yan Chuan, Miao, Qinglong, and Yang Zigu stopped at the top of a mountain. Below them, the emperor held a long saber in his hand. Chi! 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 With a flash of blood, 10 huge demon wolves fell to the ground. The emperor kept his saber and looked at the result of his battle coldly. Prince Yan, who is this? Qinglong asked with a complicated expression. Just treat him as a friend. Yin Chuan smiled. Miao, what friend? You look so cold every day. Did your father die? I think he died. Miao Miao was halfway through her reprimand when she realized what was going on. On the side, Yang Zizhou also coldly looked at the emperor at the foot of the mountain. Young master, this woman is too strange, one of the attendants said with a terrible expression. Huh. Her cultivation is improving too fast. 1 level a day. When we saw her that day, she was only at LV1 of the power realm. After killing demon beasts in the forest for a few days, she improved by 1 level a day. Now she's already at LV6 of the power realm. This is too strange. 1 level a day? The attendant said with a strange expression. Yes, and she killed 10 demon beasts today. Young master, she's only at the power realm. These 10 demon wolves, no matter how weak their cultivation is, they're at least at the essence realm. This doesn't make sense. Yang Zigu's face was gloomy. Qinglong, when are we leaving? Yang Zigu asked. Young master Yang can go first. Qinglong said with a smile. I'll follow you. Yang Zigu snorted. Below them, the emperor did not care about the demon beasts' corpses. He walked to the side and took out some food. Space treasure? What kind of spatial magic treasure is she using? Yang Zigu was filled with confusion. 10,000-year stalactite milk? Qinglong exclaimed. The emperor swallowed the 10,000-year stalactite milk and sat for a while. Boom! A muffled sound rang out, and with the emperor as the center, a gust of wind blew out in all directions. Another breakthrough? 7th LV of the power realm? Was she a demon? Don't you need to stabilize your realm with every level you advance? Yang Zigu was surprised. Another 10 days passed. It was still the same forest. Boom! A wild boar demon at the peak of the fine realm fell to the ground. The emperor sat down cross-legged again. He took out something from his spatial treasure and swallowed it before sitting down cross-legged again. Boom! The emperor had broken through again. Dongyang, how is it? Yang Zigu asked. She broke through again, LV5 of the essence realm. She broke through again in less than 2 days? Yang Zigu's servant said with a complicated expression. Who is she? Yang Zigu frowned. Young master, why don't we let Beiyang test her tonight? Dongyang said. All right. Yang Zigu nodded. On the other side, Yan Chuan approached the emperor. Can we talk? Yan Chuan asked. The emperor opened his eyes and looked at Yan Chuan. No need. I'll leave once the 30 days are up. Are you accumulating killing intent? Yan Chuan asked curiously. The emperor glanced at Yan Chuan and said, I'm condensing my saber will. I'll be done in a month. Then I won't have to trouble you anymore. Okay. Yan Chuan nodded. Do you want me to kill those 5 for you? The emperor asked. Huh. Yan Chuan followed the emperor's gaze. It was Yang Zigu and the other 4. He smiled bitterly and shook his head. You can't kill the leader. I still need him. I know. The emperor nodded and closed his eyes, ignoring Yan Chuan. Chapter 407. It was nighttime. In the forest. Inside a tent. Yang Zigu waited impatiently. Yang Zigu and the other two attendants were also in the tent. Why isn't Bei Yang back yet? Yang Zigu asked. Although Bei Yang is in the early stage of Qijing, he should be back soon. One of the attendants said. Useless. Yang Zigu scolded. The four of them waited impatiently in the tent. The sun was about to rise. Dongyang, go and find Bei Yang. Yang Zigu said angrily. Yes. 2 hours later. Yang Zigu and the three attendants stood quietly in front of a mountain. There was a corpse lying on the ground. It was Bei Yang who had not returned for the night. He killed Bei Yang with one strike, Dongyang said with an unsightly expression. He accurately slashed Bei Yang's major acupoints. Is it that girl? That's impossible. Impossible. She is only in the essence state. Everyone was in disbelief. Let's go and have a look, Yang Zigu said coldly. They ignored Bei Yang's corpse and went to the top of a mountain. Looking from afar, they saw the emperor practicing his saber art in the middle of a pack of demon wolves. LV6 of the essence state? Dongyang exclaimed. It was not because his cultivation was too high, but because his cultivation was too fast. He was only at LV5 of the essence state yesterday. Boom! In the distance, nearly 10 demonic wolves soared into the sky with a loud rumble. Several saber lights flashed, and the 10 demonic wolves were instantly beheaded. Bang! The 10 demon wolves fell to the ground. The emperor left the pack of demon wolves and took out some high-quality food from his space artifact. He swallowed it and sat down cross-legged. Let's go, Yang Zigu said coldly. The four of them were about to rush toward the emperor. Whoosh! Yin Chuan and Qing Long suddenly stood in front of the four. Young Master Yang, where are you going? Yin Chuan smiled. It's none of your business. Get out of my way. Yang Zigu said coldly. I can let you go, but Dongyang is not allowed. Yin Chuan shook his head. What did you say? Yang Zigu asked. My friend is speaking of the essence state. Dongyang is too dangerous. It's better not to go. As for the other three, I won't stop you. Yin Chuan said. Yin Chuan, are you looking down on me? Yang Zigu said. No, I'm just stating a fact. Yin Chuan smiled. Take Yin Chuan down. Yang Zhizhou ordered coldly. Who? Chuan Chuanzan. Chuan 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 Qing. Are our words Chuan? Chuan 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 Chuan. Young Master Yang, don't be impatient. Please don't make things difficult for me. Qing Long shook his head. You. Yang Zigu stared coldly at Qing Long. Humph. Yang Zigu snorted, turned around and left. In the valley, the emperor slowly woke up. He looked at Yin Chuan, who was blocking the enemy for him, and stepped into the forest again. When Emperor entered the forest, Azure Dragon frowned and looked at Yin Chuan. Prince Yin, who is this woman? Why do I feel that her saber skills are getting stronger every day? Qing Long frowned. Oh, you can tell? Yin Chuan smiled. Yes, on the first day, her saber skills were still vulgar. But then with each day, her saber skills improved tremendously. This is too strange. Qing Long frowned. Looking at the emperor who had entered the forest, Yin Chuan said. Her name is the emperor. She will rise like the sun. One day, her name will be known all over the world. Ah! Qing Long was surprised. Continue to protect her. If any divine realm demonic beasts barge in, continue to chase them away. Although this is a small matter to you now, you will be thankful for what you have done today in the future. Yin Chuan said in a deep voice. Chapter 408. Yes, I believe in Prince Yan. Qing Long nodded. In another mountain forest. This is infuriating. Infuriating. Damn that Yin Chuan. Damn that Qing Long. Yang Zigu grumbled. Young master, Qing Long is protecting that woman. What should we do? One of the attendants asked worriedly. That's right. That woman is insane. It's only been a few days and she's already reached LV6 of the essence state. It doesn't make sense. Nanyang Xiang, go together tonight. Capture that woman for me. Yang Zigu ordered coldly. Yes. The two attendants answered. The next day, in another mountain valley, Yang Zigu's face twitched. Dongyang stood in front of Yang Zigu with an equally ugly expression. Lying in front of them were the corpses of Nanyang and Xiang. She died in the same way as Beiyang. It must be her. Dongyang said. Let's go and find them. Yang Zigu's face was frosty. Beside a large river. The emperor sat cross-legged. A whirlwind blew around him. The whirlwind formed a blade around the emperor. LV7 of the essence state. She's already at LV7. Dongyang exclaimed. Get out of my way. Qinglong, get out of my way. Yang Zigu scolded. Young Master Yang, did the emperor kill your 3 attendants? Did you see it with your own eyes? Yin Chuan asked coldly. Meow. Meow glared at Yang Zigu. Capture her, and we'll know once we interrogate her. Dongyang shouted. That's impossible. Yin Chuan smiled. In the distance, the emperor slowly opened his eyes. Yin Chuan, let them come here. The emperor said. Yin Chuan frowned. Qinglong was puzzled. Yang Zigu led Dongyang toward the emperor. Speak, did you kill my 3 attendants? Don't try to quibble. Yang Zigu said coldly. The emperor coldly looked at the 2 of them and said, those who offend me will die. I killed them. Since you admit it, don't blame me for being rude. Dongyang, take him down. Yang Zigu said coldly. Yes. Xing. Dongyang pulled out his sword. But the emperor slashed with his saber. Boom. The sword and saber collided. The emperor was sent flying. But Dongyang took 2 steps back. Such power! Dongyang exclaimed. In midair, the emperor took out a golden pill and put it into his mouth. Boom! The emperor's aura suddenly surged. Level 8 of the essence state? Qinglong exclaimed from afar. Meow, her cultivation is rising too fast. Yin Chuan shook his head. It's not an increase, it's recovery. The emperor's body had a high cultivation base to begin with. At this moment it was just recovering. It was different from when he was reborn. Boom! The emperor stood on the surface of the river and swung his saber. A bone-chilling killing intent burst out. Crack! 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 The river was instantly frozen by the bone-chilling killing intent. Monster! Dongyang's expression changed. He swung his sword at the emperor. Boom! A vast sword aura slashed down, instantly shooting out hundreds of sword chi towards the emperor. Boom! Emperor stomped the ground and shot toward Dongyang at lightning speed. He followed the energy swords and shot toward Dongyang. Whoosh! The emperor swung his saber, and a vicious saber light slashed at Dongyang. Dongyang's expression changed. The energy sword changed direction, and the saber and sword collided. Boom! The emperor was sent flying. He fell into the river again. Boom! A muffled sound came from the emperor's body. Level 9 of the essence state? Level 9 of the essence state? Dongyang exclaimed. The emperor flicked his short hair and soared into the sky again. He charged toward Dongyang. Chapter 409. Even though Dongyang's cultivation was 2 levels higher than Huang's, he was still shocked by the increase in her cultivation. Heavenly light slash. Dongyang roared and swung his sword at Huang. There seemed to be a huge transparent saber chi around the emperor, which collided with Dongyang's attack. Saber chi? He's only in the essence state. How can he have saber chi? Qinglong exclaimed. That's saber will, not saber chi. Did she succeed? Yin Chuan was surprised. Saber will? Formed by will? When she reaches the chi state, then... Qinglong exclaimed. Boom! The saber will and the energy blade collided again. The powerful saber will actually shattered the sword aura of the divine realm. The sovereign was once again sent flying backward and fell into the river. 10th level of the essence state. Impossible! You can't have reached 10th level of the essence state. Dongyang exclaimed. My cultivation increased by 1 level each time? How is that possible? My eyes must be playing tricks on me. Rumble. Suddenly, a series of rumbles sounded in the sky as dark clouds covered the sky. The second tribulation cloud had arrived. Is it really 10th level of the essence state? Really? Dongyang exclaimed. Huang shot Dongyang a cold glance and said, You've lost your chance. Chance? What do you mean? Dongyang was puzzled. Dongyang soon realized what Huang Xiaolong meant. Lost my chance? Humph. I have plenty of chances to kill you. Now that the tribulation cloud has arrived, you still want to fight me? 10th level of the essence state. I can start accumulating qi now. Huang said. Qi. Huang looked at the tribulation cloud in the sky coldly. Rumble. Lightning flashed as heavenly might descended. Part of the river that was frozen by the saber qi beneath Huang's feet began to thaw. The thawed river churned and created many saber waves. Rumble. The saber waves rose higher and higher into the sky as if they were challenging the heavenly tribulation. Boom. Finally, the heavenly tribulation began. 9 huge lightning bolts fell from the sky. Huang's eyes turned cold as he swung his saber at the sky. Boom. Following the outline of the long saber, a golden saber qi soared into the sky. The saber qi soared into the sky, growing larger and larger. The huge saber qi condensed from the sovereign saber intent was like a heavenly sword soaring into the sky. Wherever it passed, the 9 heavenly thunders from the sky would collapse. The saber qi was getting stronger and stronger. In the blink of an eye, it had grown to 10,000 feet in size. Impossible. Dongyang stared at the scene in shock. Hong. Wherever the saber qi passed, the tribulation clouds in the sky were cut in half. Impossible. Yang Zigu exclaimed from afar. Qinglong was also in disbelief. Tribulation clouds? Those were tribulation clouds. Even if this woman was a pervert, she shouldn't be so exaggerated. A single slash had severed the tribulation clouds? Rumble. The severed tribulation clouds slowly dissipated, revealing a clear sky. The second level of heavenly tribulation had ended. Did he just cut the heavenly tribulation with a single slash? Other than Yan Chuan and Miao, everyone else was at a loss and cursed inwardly. First stage of Qi Jing? Qinglong said in confusion. Rumble. A huge wave suddenly appeared above the river. The wave was shaped like a saber and carried the sovereign higher and higher. In the blink of an eye, the saber had reached the same height as Dongyang. Dongyang gripped his long sword tightly. Although he knew that the sovereign had just reached the qi state, he still felt like running away. Fear. Fear. The sovereign looked coldly at Dongyang and said, "It's your turn." As he spoke, the sovereign sheathed his long bronze saber. However, a huge azure saber qi appeared in front of the sovereign. Boom. The saber qi condensed from the sovereign's will slashed at Dongyang. Bastard. Dongyang raised his sword and slashed at the sovereign. The sovereign's actions had deeply humiliated Dongyang. Die. Dongyang slashed at the sovereign. Buzz. The sovereign's saber qi was like a supreme being descending from the heavens. Fish. The saber qi continued onward as the huge saber qi was cut in half. No! Dongyang screamed as the saber qi cut through his body. Bang! Dongyang's body, which had been killed by the saber qi, fell from the air. Immortal state? That's the immortal state. It doesn't make sense that the sovereign is only in the qi state. Qinglong said in disbelief. Qinglong, save me. Yang Zigu screamed. The sovereign ignored Yang Zigu and looked at Yan Chuan. There's no need to wait a month. I'm strong enough to protect myself. See you later. Okay. Yan Chuan nodded. The sovereign stepped on the saber qi and disappeared into the distance. Chapter 410. After watching the emperor leave, Yang Zigu finally caught his breath. Evildoer, evildoer. Yang Zigu muttered with lingering fear. Meow, I protected her for so many days, but she didn't even smile. So cold. Meow wagged its tail and said angrily, "All right, my business is done. Let's go to the undying Holy Land ruins now." Yan Chuan said with a serious face. Qinglong nodded. Bring me along, Qinglong, bring me along, I don't want to stay here. Yang Zigu immediately shouted. Qinglong looked at Yan Chuan and Yan Chuan nodded. With a flick of his sleeves, Qinglong brought 2 people and a cat and quickly flew towards the southwest. Half a month later, the 3 of them had already arrived outside the undying Holy Land ruins. The Holy Maiden said that it's in front of the undying city. Qinglong explained while flying. Undying city? Yan Chuan asked doubtfully. After the undying Holy Land was annihilated, my Dazhao Holy Land opened up a city nearby and named it Undying City. Although it is very far from the Dazhao Holy Land, no sect dared to disturb us. Therefore, as long as the people from the Dazhao Holy Land came, they would all gather in the Undying City. The Holy Maiden should be there too, Qinglong said. In that case, the experts of the Dazhao Holy Land are all gathered in the Undying City now? Yanchuan asked. It should be. Although the Undying Holy Land was glorious in the past, the current environment is extremely bad, and the Yin energy is dense. Therefore, most cultivators are unwilling to stay in the outside world. The nearby cultivators usually live in the city. Qinglong explained. Over there we're here. Qinglong's eyesight immediately saw the distance. Not long after, a huge city appeared in front of the three of them. Whoosh! In a blink of an eye, everyone arrived at the Undying City. Entry and exit inspection. A guard at the city gate shouted, "Are you blind? How dare I investigate?" Yang Zigu immediately scolded. Young Master Yang, I was mistaken. The guard immediately recognized Yang Zigu and quickly apologized. And where does Mo Yushi live? Yang Zigu shouted. Holy Maiden Mo Yushi? He lives in North Mo Hall. That's right, young Master Yang, your older brother lives in the City Lord's mansion. Do you want him? That guard tried to curry favor. Who? Yang Zigu frowned. Guyu Holy Son, do you want me to inform him? The guard asked. Who said I want to see him? Don't block my way. Yang Zigu said coldly. Yes. The guards naturally didn't dare to stop him. Yin Chuan's group also successfully entered the city. The Undying City was roughly the same size as the Worry-Free City. However, the population was slightly higher. Undying City, North Mo Hall. Mo Yushi, dressed in a black Confucian robe and holding a folding fan, paced back and forth in the hall. Her brows were deeply furrowed, as if she was thinking about something. Bai Long, Rosefinch and Xuanwu stood in the hall. Rosefinch's expression was ugly. Holy Maiden, I've also lost. What should we do next? Yes, Mr. Monroe's chess skills are too strong. Although Rosefinch and I placed our pieces separately, it was still the Holy Maiden's chess skills that played the most. We've lost both rounds. What should we do? Xuanwu's expression was also ugly. Mo Yushi pinched the head of her folding fan and shook her head. Mr. Monroe? I learned my chess skills from him. It's not shameful to lose to him. The main reason is still Guyu. But there's only one round left. In the morning, Guyu Holy Son also sent someone to urge us. Rosefinch said anxiously. Chapter 4:11. Mo Yushi thought for a moment, then turned to look at Bai Long White Tiger. No Bai Long? Mo Yushi called out. Bai Long had a conflicted look on his face. It seemed that his name had been decided and had been completely changed. Saintis. Bai Long sighed softly. Did Prince Yen mention anything? How long will he be here? Mo Yushi asked in a low voice. No, just a few days. I don't know the details. Bai Long shook his head. Saintis, will Prince Yen be useful? Rosefinch asked doubtfully. I have a feeling that he will be able to do it. Mo Yushi said in a low voice. Why? I didn't see him play chess last time. I heard from Mr. Monroe that he wanted to play a game with Yen Chuan. For Mr. Monroe to care so much, I think. Mo Yushi shook her head. She seemed to have thought of something and smiled subconsciously. Screech. A crane screech suddenly came from outside the hall. Mo Yushi looked out of the hall in confusion. Little crane, what's wrong? Mo Yushi asked in confusion. Bang! A huge red-crowned crane flew into the hall. Screech, screech. The red-crowned crane flapped its wings and looked out of the hall. Whoosh! Qinglong, Yen Chuan, and Yang Zigu placed their pieces on the square of North Mo Hall. They're here. That's great. Bai Long exclaimed. Yen Chuan is here? A smile appeared on Mo Yushi's face. Yushi, I'm here. I'm here. Yang Zigu shouted. The smile on Mo Yushi's face disappeared. Yang Zigu? Why are you here? Mo Yushi's face stiffened. I came to see you. Yang Zigu suddenly shouted. Mo Yushi looked at Yang Zigu and frowned. In the end she sighed. Swish. In the distance another figure landed on the square. It was a Taoist in purple. It was the servant who used to follow Guyu Holy Sun. Saintess Mo Yushi, Mr. Monroe is already waiting for you at the cloud platform. If you don't go now, you'll be giving up your last chance, said the Taoist in purple. Ziwen, what's going on? Yang Zigu shouted. The purple-clothed Taoist saw Yang Zigu when he flew over. He didn't want to talk to him, but Yang Zigu asked, which made Ziwen frown. Ninth young master. This is a bet between the Holy Son and the Holy Daughter in the Immortal City. Ziwen said respectfully. Oh, bet? What do you mean? Yang Zigu asked in surprise. My great Zhao sacred land is determined to obtain the treasures of the undying Holy Land, but it has attracted 2 holy sons and 2 holy daughters of my great Zhao sacred land. However, the treasures are limited. In order to avoid harming the harmony when the time comes, we will first use a battle of wits. The defeated holy sons and holy daughters will retreat. Bet? Yang Zigu was surprised. A holy son and a holy daughter have already retreated. Now, only holy daughter Mo Yushi and Guyu holy son are left in the Immortal City. Ziwen explained. Bet? I remember Guyu is not good at chess. Yang Zigu said in surprise. Guyu holy son sent Mr. Monroe. Ziwen said. I knew it. So it's a gunman. Ha ha ha. Yang Zigu said in disdain. Those who want to achieve great things don't need to do everything personally. Ziwen frowned. Achieve great things? Humph. Yang Zigu's face turned cold. Holy daughter, who do you want to send? Ziwen looked at Mo Yushi again. Bet? I like it. I'll do it. Yin Chuan suddenly said. Huh. Everyone turned to look. Ziwen looked at Yin Chuan and raised his eyebrows. Ziwen also saw Yin Chuan when he came here. Last time, Guyu Holy Sun gave him the order to kill Yin Chuan. He thought that Yin Chuan was dead, but he didn't expect him to still be alive. And now he wanted to play chess? Who do you think you are? Who do you think you are? Ziwen said coldly. You don't have to worry about whether I'm qualified or not. Yin Chuan smiled. Huh. Ziwen's eyes turned cold. Whoosh. Qinglong stood in front of Yin Chuan. That's right. Yin Chuan will fight for me in the 3rd round. Mo Yushi said immediately. Holy daughter. This person is extremely evil and disrespectful to the Dazhao Holy Sun. I suggest we execute him. Ziwen said respectfully. Huh. He's my man. You dare to do anything to him? Mo Yushi's eyes turned cold. Ziwen looked at Mo Yushi in surprise. What was the relationship between Yin Chuan and Mo Yushi? Why was she so protective of him? Meow. This isn't your territory. What's the point of pointing fingers here? Are you a pig? Meow squinted and scolded. Huh. Ziwen's face darkened. Ha ha ha. Ziwen, you really do have some brains. Yang Zigu suddenly laughed. Ziwen's face turned red. He looked at Yang Zigu and didn't dare to get angry. Holy daughter, 9th young master, I'll leave first. As for the cloud platform game, please hurry up. Ziwen said angrily. Mo Yushi smiled faintly. No one paid any attention to Ziwen. Ziwen left angrily. Yin Chuan, how's your chess game? Don't lose to Yushi. Yang Zigu shouted. Take care of Meow for me. Yin Chuan said to Mo Yushi. Mo Yushi's eyes flashed with tenderness as she nodded. Meow? I want to go too. Meow started arguing. Meow likes spirit stones. Yin Chuan said to Mo Yushi. Mo Yushi's expression changed. She took out a sky blue stone. Meow, I'll give you some spirit stones to eat. Mo Yushi immediately called out. Obviously, Bai Long had already told Mo Yushi about Meow's existence. Supreme grade spirit stones? Meow. Meow immediately ran to Mo Yushi. I still have a lot. Don't disturb Yin Chuan's chess game, okay? Mo Yushi smiled. Sister Mo is so nice. If only you were daily Yin Chuan's wife. In the future, Meow would have food to eat every day. Meow was bought over in the blink of an eye. Meow spoke without thinking, and Mo Yushi's face instantly turned red. Yin Chuan. Wife? What wife? Stupid cat, don't talk nonsense. Yang Zigu shouted. Cat, your sister. I've always disliked you. You're just a pretty boy with no ability. You took in 4 underlings, but they all died. Just now, when that pig was bullying Sister Mo, you didn't even dare to fart. Yin Chuan and I had to help stop him. Meow shouted. Although Meow was young, she was very specific when she scolded people. Every sentence she said was aimed at Yang Zigu's weak spot. You're pissing me off. Stupid cat. I'll teach you a lesson. Yang Zigu said angrily. If you have the ability, go find that pig. Meow hugged the supreme grade spirit stones and said disdainfully. Ziwen? I'll find him, but you won't have it easy either. Yang Zigu said. Pretty boy, you bully the weak and fear the strong. Meow continued to scold. Yang Zigu's face darkened again. He turned around and flew away. Everyone looked at the departing Yang Zizhou in shock. Where is he going? Bai Long was confused. He's going to find Ziwen. Meow. Meow said proudly. Chapter 412. After Yang Zigu left, Moyushi liked Meow even more. She flipped her hand and took out 10 supreme grade spirit stones of different colors. Meow. Meow happily put the supreme grade spirit stones into her little felt hat. Sister Emo, you're so much better than Yen Chuan. Meow praised. Alright Meow, don't push your luck. A few supreme grade spirit stones are enough. Yen Chuan said. I'm not asking you for them. Meow said disdainfully. Crunch. Meow bit on the supreme grade spirit stone and felt all the pores on her body open up. It was as if she was breathing, and she felt extremely comfortable. How's Mr. Monroe's chess skills? Do you have a chess manual? Yen Chuan asked the people around him. Yes, I'll show it to Prince Yen. Rosefinch immediately said. Moyushi thought for a while and said, This Mr. Monroe, I heard that when he was in the Julu Academy, he was best at painting. Unfortunately, I've never seen him paint before. Painting? Yen Chuan was slightly surprised. Zither, chess, calligraphy, and painting are all fields that a scholar must learn. In the Julu Academy, everyone was an expert. However, when it came to painting, I heard that Mr. Monroe had already reached the peak. Unfortunately, outside of the Julu Academy, no one has seen him paint before. Even if he doesn't paint, he has great attainments in zither, chess, and calligraphy. Moyushi explained. Prince Yen, please take a look. Rosefinch quickly set up a chessboard, and the white and black pieces were quickly placed on it. Yen Chuan nodded lightly as he watched the pieces being placed. Not bad, Mr. Monroe's chess skills are indeed extraordinary. Yen Chuan nodded. How is it? Moyushi asked worriedly. Don't worry. Although his chess skills are extraordinary, he's still slightly inferior to my minister, Yi Feng. Yen Chuan smiled. Then can we win? Qing Long asked expectantly. Yen Chuan nodded. Moyushi's the 4 servants all smiled. How did you two make the bet? Yen Chuan asked. Yang Guyu and the Holy Sun, Moyushi said seriously. Yang was. Of the 3 games, Chuan Lady and the Sun Saint Lady and the Holy Sun, that was because we, Lady and the Sun Lunan and NNN and. That's all. Yen Chuan frowned. Yeah, why? Moyushi didn't understand. I mean, the Dazhao Holy Ground didn't just send the 4 saintesses and the Holy Sun, right? Yen Chuan asked doubtfully. Of course, there are still a few enlightened masters. Normally, they would follow the 4 of us blindly. The enlightened masters who originally followed the 4 of us gradually went to Guyu's camp because of Yang Guyu's repeated victories. He should have 7 or 8 enlightened masters. Moyushi said. Suddenly, Moyushi's expression changed. He seemed to have thought of something. You're saying? Moyushi asked in surprise. Guyu Holy Sun? You do have some courage. For the next game, how about you listen to me? Yen Chuan asked. Moyushi nodded. Immortal City, Central City Lord Mansion. The City Lord Mansion was also a huge floating island. Outside the floating island, there were 7 or 8 small floating islands. On a floating island shrouded in white clouds, Mr. Monroe sat upright, waving a feather fan in his hand and a game of Go in front of him. Below him, a large number of strong people surrounded him, as if they were waiting. Whoosh! Qing Long brought Yen Chuan and flew to the floating island in an instant. They landed in front of Mr. Monroe. Chapter 413. Prince Yen. Mr. Monroe's eyes lit up. Mr. Monroe, it's been a long time. How about I play a game with you on behalf of Miss Mo? Yin Chuan smiled. Of course. Mr. Monroe nodded immediately. Sir, I'll be waiting below. Just let me know if you need anything. Qinglong said. Okay. Qinglong left. Only Yin Chuan and Wen Ruo were left on the huge floating island. Prince Yin, please. Mr. Monroe smiled. Please. Yin Chuan nodded. I heard from my sister that Prince Yin likes Tunyan. Why don't you go first? Mr. Monroe smiled. Mr. Monroe, don't regret it. Yin Chuan smiled. Please. Pa. Yin Chuan took a black piece and placed it right on Tianyuan. Mr. Monroe raised his eyebrows and looked at Yin Chuan in surprise. What? Didn't you know that I would lose Tianyuan? Why do you look like that? Yin Chuan smiled. Mr. Monroe smiled bitterly. I thought you would place it somewhere else. Oh. I didn't ask you to lose Tianyuan. I just wanted to see if you wouldn't lose Tianyuan. Mr. Monroe smiled bitterly. Are you testing me? At least it proves that my sister is right. Prince Yen is a man of principles and is very stubborn about them. Mr. Monroe said. Perhaps. Everyone has their own perseverance. That is the foundation of everyone's life. Once you waver, you will lose yourself. Yin Chuan smiled and continued to place his piece. Well said. Let's meet in the game. Mr. Monroe said solemnly. Okay. Smack. 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 The two of them placed their pieces very quickly. At the same time, the floating island that the two of them were sitting on was like a magic treasure. When the two of them placed their pieces, a huge illusory image of a chessboard appeared in the void, showing the two of them placing their pieces. Countless Xiozha in all directions looked up at the sky. Who is this person? What kind of chess game was this? The first son Tianyuan? Someone the saint has found? Will it work this time? That person's cultivation is only at the essence realm. He can't do it. Yeah, Mr. Monroe's chess skills have defeated many people. Looks like Holy Maiden Mo Yushi is going to end up like the other two Holy Sun Holy Maidens. Negative voices came from all directions. In a restaurant, Mo Yushi's eyes were filled with determination. Holy Maiden, Mr. Monroe and Young Master are placing their pieces very quickly. Qinglong said with a frown. Yeah, the interval between placing their pieces was less than 2 breaths. When one of them placed his piece, the other followed. So many pieces have been placed in such a short time? Bai Long was also surprised. Don't worry. Mo Yushi said lightly. However, Mo Yushi's clenched fists told Mo Yushi what she was worried about. Buzz. A huge flower suddenly appeared on the huge chessboard in the void. Mr. Monroe has formed the image of a chess piece. Is he done with his setup? Rosefinch's expression changed. Countless Xiozha in all directions looked at the huge flower. Envy flashed in their eyes. Life chess? Mr. Monroe's chess game is full of vitality. Mo Yushi said worriedly. Hum. More and more flowers bloomed on the illusory chessboard formed by the floating island. The flowers bloomed one after another, as if they were covering the entire chessboard. Mr. Monroe's chess game is still so elegant. Flowers? Vitality blooming? In the Julu Academy, only the great scholars can do that, right? Chapter 414. In the previous games, when the flowers bloomed all over the chessboard, Mr. Monroe won completely. What is that kid playing? The floating island cloud platform can show the chessboard's artistic conception, but he hasn't shown anything yet. It seems like he can't win. That's for sure. How can he beat Mr. Monroe? A lot of disdainful comments came from all directions. Mo Yushi was getting more and more worried. Wang. Flowers bloomed one after another. Mr. Monroe seemed to have completely suppressed Yin Chuan, but he didn't feel happy at all. Instead, he became more and more serious. On the contrary, Yin Chuan, who seemed to be at a disadvantage, smiled slightly. Mr. Monroe, you were careless. Mr. Monroe's eyes narrowed as he looked at the chessboard. Let's continue. Mr. Monroe insisted. You shouldn't have given up in the beginning. The more you struggle, the more painful it is. Yin Chuan laughed. Mr. Monroe looked at Yin Chuan and smiled bitterly, but he still shook his head and continued to persist. Buzz. The flowers were still blooming, and they had covered most of the chessboard. It seemed like Mr. Monroe was going to win completely. Holding a white piece, Mr. Monroe looked at the chessboard quietly, as if he couldn't make a move. This game is too flashy. Can you see the countless murderous intentions behind the flashy moves? Mr. Monroe, although you and I haven't interacted much, I can see that you are a man of great wisdom. Can't you see the murderous intentions behind the flashy moves? The Dazhao Holy Land doesn't suit you. This is not a place where you should stay. Yin Chuan said softly. Mr. Monroe raised his eyebrows and looked at Yin Chuan. Was there a hidden meaning in Yin Chuan's words? Your talent didn't win the respect you deserved in the Dazhao Holy Land. Time after time you were only used. Although it was flashy, it was all an illusion. Can't you tell? Yin Chuan asked. Mr. Monroe frowned and looked at Yin Chuan. Finally, he shook his head and smiled bitterly. I appreciate Prince Yan's kindness, but there are many things that are beyond my control. Pa! The chess pieces continued to fall. I'm just reminding you. Everything is still up to you. Yin Chuan stopped trying to persuade him. At this point, it would be annoying if she continued to insist. She just needed to show her attitude to Mr. Monroe. Buzz. Flowers gradually bloomed all over the chessboard. How's my chess compared to Yifeng's? Mr. Monroe asked as he placed his chess piece with difficulty. It's a different concept. He's playing chess like he's laying out a grand scheme. You're showing off when you play chess. Yin Chuan laughed as he placed his chess piece down. Show? Delicate, beautiful. Although delicate, it's full of vitality. Although I don't know why you're in the Dazhao Holy Land, I can see that you're putting all your eggs in one basket. You'll be miserable if you only attack and don't defend. Yin Chuan shook his head and sighed. Oh, it just so happens that the black pieces I placed are on the path of the undercurrent. They're murderous and lifeless. Feel it. Yin Chuan placed down another piece. Pa! A piece was placed. Phew! On the huge virtual chessboard, a huge flower suddenly withered. Look what's going on. The flower withered? It's not just that one flower. One flower after another is withering? What's going on? Isn't Mr. Monroe going to win? Amidst the exclamations of the surrounding cultivators, Mr. Monroe lost again and again. Withered, one flower after another is withering. Chapter 4:15. Immortal City. City Lord's Mansion. Ziwen, you bastard, what were you doing just now? Pointing fingers in front of me? Making me lose face in front of you, she? Yang Zigu scolded Ziwen angrily. Ziwen of the Northern Mo Palace returned with a belly full of anger. He was prepared to slowly digest this humiliation. He didn't expect Yang Zigu to chase him all the way here and be so aggressive, constantly scolding and criticizing him. There were many familiar faces in the City Lord's Mansion's main hall. How could he not give him any face in front of so many people? Ninth young master, don't go too far. Ziwen gritted his teeth and said angrily. Ziwen, an emptiness realm expert, was humiliated in front of everyone by a Qi realm expert. He couldn't calm down and was even angrier. Go too far? Do you dare to touch me? I'll go back and tell my father to destroy your body and soul. Do you believe me? Yang Zigu said coldly. Ziwen clenched his fists. He was really powerless in front of Yang Zigu, who asked Mohina Dojin to spoil him. Enough! A voice sounded in the main hall. Guyu Holy Sun looked at Yang Zigu with an ugly expression and said, Lao Jiu, Ziwen is my attendant. It's not up to you to criticize him. Yang Zigu turned his head and looked at Guyu Holy Sun, who was at the north of the main hall. Guyu, don't pretend to be big in front of me. So what if you're a holy son? I'm not afraid of you. Also, everyone in the main hall, listen up. Yang Zigu glanced at everyone in the main hall. All the cultivators in the main hall had ugly expressions. If anyone dares to cause trouble in the Northern Mo Palace, don't blame me for not being polite. Yang Zigu said coldly. All the cultivators in the main hall had cold eyes. Not being polite? Why aren't you being polite? The ancient moon Holy Sun said coldly. Yang Zigu sneered. I will ask my father to remove your immortal karmic titles. At that time there will be someone to deal with you. As soon as Yang Zigu said this, The faces of all the practitioners turned extremely ugly, but no one dared to say anything. Then take mine too, Guyu Holy Sun said coldly. I can't touch you, but I can touch the people around you. I can make those followers of yours go to hell. Do you believe me? Yang Zigu acted shamelessly. You. Guyu glared at him and a vicious aura flashed. You want to hit me? Hit me then. Father said that you are not allowed to bully me. If you hit me, I will tell Father and let Father deal with you. Yang Zigu said hatefully. The cultivators of the First Palace Hall and the Emptiness Realm expert of the First Palace Hall could do nothing to Yang Zigu. After all, he had a good father. The atmosphere in the hall became tense. Oh no! A practitioner outside the hall rushed into the hall. What's the matter? Guyu Holy Sun said coldly. Holy Sun, Mr. Monroe is going to lose, the practitioner said with an ugly expression. What? Guyu Holy Sun's expression changed. He ignored Yang Zigu and stepped out of the hall. Standing at the entrance of the hall, he looked up at the cloud platform not far away. Withering. The flowers on the virtual chessboard withered one after another. Their vitality was annihilated, and the aura of death surrounded them. Mr. Monroe's chess pieces were losing. On the cloud platform, Mr. Monroe's eyes were extremely serious. He grabbed a white chess piece and couldn't put it down. Let's draw, Yin Chuan said with a smile. Draw. Mr. Monroe suddenly looked up. Now on the chessboard the black and white chess pieces are equal. Let's stop here. Let's call it a draw. Yin Chuan smiled. Mr. Monroe looked at Yin Chuan in surprise. In the end he said solemnly, I still have things to do in the Dazhao Holy Land, so I can't lose this game. Thank you very much. Chapter 4:16. When you're done, play another game with me, Yin Chuan said with a smile. Sure, Mr. Monroe said gratefully. The two of them stood up slowly. When they stood up, Qinglong immediately flew over. Let's go back, Yin Chuan said with a smile. Yes. Qinglong took Yin Chuan and flew away quickly. Mr. Monroe smiled and flew back to the mayor's mansion. Among the commoners below, a black-robed figure watched Yin Chuan leave. It's God's will, Yin Chuan. You actually came to the Immortal City? You even brought my compass. Just in time to escape, the black-robed figure said in a low voice. The mayor's mansion. Mr. Monroe looked at Guyu Holy Sun and said, Holy Sun, I didn't win. Yin Chuan. Him again. Guyu Holy Sun's eyes turned cold. When Ruo, aren't you a talent from the Julu Academy? You're proficient in zither, chess, calligraphy, and painting. He's just a nobody. You actually didn't win? Ziwen said coldly. All right, Mr. Monroe tried his best. Although he didn't win, he didn't lose either. It's okay to leave Mo Yushi in the city. She's just a few people. She can't do anything big. Guyu Holy Sun comforted. Thank you, Holy Sun. Mr. Monroe nodded. Guyu Holy Sun nodded and looked coldly at Qinglong and Yin Chuan in the distance. North Mo Palace. This time it's all thanks to you again. Mo Yushi said softly. It's nothing. You don't have to say that. Maybe I'll need your help soon. Yin Chuan said with a smile. Mo Yushi nodded without hesitation. You're so good at chess. Why don't you teach me? Mo Yushi asked expectantly. All right. Meow Dolly. Yin Chuan is obviously up to no good. Meow scolded. Pa. Mo Yushi reached out and stuffed a top-grade spirit stone into Meow's arms. Meow sister Mo is such a good person. Meow held the top-grade spiritual stone and jumped aside with a big smile. Qinglong and the others naturally wouldn't be so tactless as to disturb him. Yin Chuan and Mo Yushi were sitting inside Northern Mo Hall, playing chess against each other. This is the golden flame tea I obtained years ago. Try it. Mo Yushi poured a cup of golden tea for Yin Chuan. After taking a sip, Yin Chuan's brows furrowed for a moment before relaxing. It was as if all the pores on his body had opened. Good tea. It's immortal grade. Yin Chuan praised. That's good. Mo Yushi's eyes curved into crescents as she smiled. You've been here for some time, right? What kind of treasure has appeared? Yin Chuan asked curiously. No, we still have to wait for a while. However, I can roughly guess what it is. Mo, she said after some thought. Oh, do you know about the past glory of the undying Holy Land? Mo, she said after some thought. I'd like to hear the details. 10,000 years ago, the undying Holy Land was the leader of all sects in the world. Its holy master was called Blade Demon. 10,000 years ago, he was the most powerful person in the world. Mo, she said. Blade Demon? 10,000 years ago, the most powerful person in the world? Yin Chuan said in surprise. Because not long ago, the emperor had inherited his father's will and become the new Blade Demon? Was it just one person? Yes. Rumor has it that several immortals who were about to ascend after their tribulation besieged the Blade Demon. We are in the mortal world, and the immortals' cultivation is suppressed by the world. But even so, they were still at the peak of the void realm. However, those quasi-immortals couldn't even withstand a single blow from the Blade Demon. They were all killed cleanly. The most powerful person in the world lived up to his name. The undying Holy Land also became the leader of all sects. Mo, she sighed. Chapter 417. Ascended? Mortal world? Yin Chuan frowned slightly but did not pursue the matter. About 5,000 to 6,000 years ago, the undying Holy Land encountered something that caused it to completely collapse. I heard that the Blade Demon also fell in that battle. After the Blade Demon fell, some of the Tao Lords of the undying Holy Land also mysteriously disappeared. Mo, she narrated. Oh, my father was from the undying Holy Land back then. Mo, she thought for a moment and said in a low voice, Your father. Yin Chuan said in surprise. My father actually. Mo, she bit her lips, not daring to say it. You can't say it? Don't force yourself. Yin Chuan smiled. Shaking her head, Mo, she stared at Yin Chuan for a while and said, My father is actually not human. Oh, Yin Chuan said in surprise. My mother is human, my father is a dark phoenix. Mo, she stared at Yin Chuan as if waiting for Yin Chuan's mood to change. Dark phoenix? No wonder your surname is Mo, she? Did your father not want you to forget your own honor? Yin Chuan praised. Don't you think I? Mo, she said worriedly. Ha ha ha, in my eyes you've always been Mo, she always. Yin Chuan nodded solemnly. Thank you. Mo, she's gloomy face blossomed into a brilliant smile. Why was your father in the undying Holy Land back then? Yin Chuan asked. Mo, she nodded and said. The undying Holy Land's guardian beast was the Phoenix clan. Before the undying Holy Land was destroyed, my father could only be here. Oh, father once told me that under the ruins of the undying Holy Land, there were things that belonged to the Phoenix clan, and there were also treasures left behind by the undying Holy Land. But he didn't tell me in detail, and then, Mo, she's face revealed a trace of sadness. If there's anything belonging to the Phoenix clan, I'll try my best to get it for you. Yin Chuan said solemnly. Mo, she nodded, touched. The two of them sipped their golden flame tea as they placed their pieces. In the middle of the night, while they were chatting happily, Yin Chuan's eyes suddenly narrowed. Buzz! A powerful aura suppressed the entire northern Mo hall. Who are you? How dare you barge into my northern Mo hall? Qinglong suddenly shouted angrily outside the hall. Who? Mo, she also immediately stood up and guarded Yin Chuan as they looked towards the entrance of northern Mo hall. His aura pressed out of the palace. Buzz buzz buzz. When the two forces collided, a series of oppressive sounds could be heard. Meow. Meow suddenly rushed into the palace and stood in front of Yin Chuan. There are 7 bad guys outside. Meow. Meow said worriedly. A hoarse voice came from outside the palace. Yin Chuan, I know you're here. Come out. Stop hiding. The voice was very hoarse and full of ridicule. 6 of them are emptiness realm experts. Mo, she said with an unsightly expression. Let's go out and take a look. Yin Chuan said in a deep voice. But. Mo, she said worriedly. Let's go. They definitely won't dare to do anything to you. That's why they haven't made a move yet. Since they haven't made a move, then everything can be discussed. Yin Chuan said with a smile. All right. But stay by my side. I'll protect you. Mo, she insisted. Yin Chuan nodded. Yin Chuan and Mo Yushi slowly stepped out of the palace. It was already late at night, but the moon was bright in the sky. 7 figures wrapped in black robes could still be seen. Qing Long and the other 3 coldly faced the 7 people, and guarded the 2 people from Northern Mo Hall. Jijijiji Yin Chuan, you came at the right time. One of the black-robed people laughed strangely. Chapter 418. Kikik, Yin Chuan. You really came at the right time. One of the black-robed men cackled. Who are you people? Mo Yushi asked coldly. Holy Maiden of the Dazhao Holy Ground? TSK, I didn't recognize you last time. The black-robed man sneered again. Yin Chuan stopped Mo Yushi and smiled. So it's Poisoner. You can recognize me? Oh, you can recognize me too? The black-robed man was surprised. Back when you were beheaded by the Dugu Jianwang, I saw your corpse. Your heart was shattered. You're a feng shui master, so I knew you'd show up again. Yin Chuan smiled faintly. My voice has changed. How can you tell? Poison Master asked solemnly. Among the 7 of you, only you are surrounded by Yin energy. You are clearly not from the Yang realm. And these people are? Yin Chuan looked at the other 6 black-robed men. Look who I am. One of the black-robed men suddenly took off his hood, revealing a cold face. Shinkuan Kuroha? Yin Chuan narrowed his eyes. Kaka. Qing Long and Mo Yushi quickly moved to Yin Chuan's side to protect him. Shinkuan Kuroha, the head of the Great Winged Heaven School. He had forced Yin Chuan's father to his death. He could be considered a major accomplice. It's really you? You were the one who ruined my plan in the feng shui formation. Shinkuan Kuroha said coldly. As he spoke, a cold murderous aura shot toward them. Shinkuan Kuroha. The Myriad Wonders Demon Lotus is in Mohina Dojin's hands. You still can't forget it? Mo Yushi said coldly. Hiding behind a woman? Hey Yin Chuan, you can't even compare to your father? Shinkuan Kuroha sneered as he looked at Yin Chuan. Yin Chuan smiled and said, It's none of your business whether I'm as good as my father or not. But you, the leader of the Great Winged Heaven School, are actually hiding your head and showing your tail? These people must be the elders of your Great Winged Heaven School. Shinkuan Kuroha frowned. This immortal city is the city of the Dazhao Holy Land. You coming here today to force an abdication is the same as provoking the Dazhao Holy Land. As long as Lady Mo gives the order, do you believe that the enlightened masters of the Dazhao Holy Land in this city will definitely make all of you stay here? Yin Chuan said coldly. Mo Yushi said with a straight face, That's right. Meow. Meow also cried out arrogantly. I've already set up a formation outside. No one will notice. Poisoner sneered. Is that so? Poisoner, you've already lost your human body. Is your feng shui formation still as perfect as it was in the past? Yin Chuan said disdainfully. Poisoner snorted coldly. You have to remember that this is not the wilderness. This is the territory of the Dazhao Holy Land. It's not too late to leave now. Once we break your feng shui formation, it'll be an even bigger crime. Imprisoning the Saintess? This is completely provoking the Dazhao Holy Land. At that time we won't even need to say anything. The heroes of the Dazhao Holy Land will raise your Great Winged Heaven School to the ground. Do you believe me? Yin Chuan sneered. Shinkuan Kuroha snorted coldly. However, Shinkuan Kuroha really didn't dare to make a move now. This was the territory of the Dazhao Holy Land. If he injured the Saintess after imprisoning her, the 3 Dao Lords of the Dazhao Holy Land would definitely not be merciful to him for the sake of the Dazhao Holy Land's prestige. Shinkuan Kuroha scram. Mo Yushi said coldly. Impossible. Unless Yin Chuan returns my things. Poisoner immediately shouted. What did I take from you? Yin Chuan said coldly. That silver compass. My compass. Return it to me. Poisoner shouted. Chapter 419. Ha 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 ha. The silver compass? Back then it was yours. Now it's not yours. Yin Chuan shook his head. Humph. You want to take what belongs to me? Do you believe that I won't kill you right now? Poisoner said coldly. Kill Yin Chuan? If you dare to make a move, I guarantee that none of you will be able to leave Immortal City. Emoyushi said coldly. Did you hear that? Yin Chuan said with a faint smile. The situation of the crowd pressuring Yin Chuan's group seemed to have reversed in the blink of an eye. Good. Ha ha ha. Yin Chuan? Shinkuan Kuroha's eyes filled with a cold light. There is no need to look at me like that. I have no use for the silver compass. However, I cannot give it to you for free. Use something to exchange for it. Yin Chuan said with a faint smile. Huh. Shinkuan Kuroha and Poisoner felt slightly surprised. What do you want? Poisoner asked coldly. I don't know what you have. How about this? Your black robes look pretty good. Use this to exchange for it. Yin Chuan said with a faint smile. What did you say? The crowd's eyes turned cold. What's wrong? You are not willing? If you are not willing, then forget it. Yin Chuan shook his head. Whoosh! Shinkuan Kuroha tugged and took off the black robes. Then he tossed them forward. There was still a gorgeous brocade robe under the black robes. Hence, taking off the black robes was nothing. Who? Aside from Poisoner, the others did the same, tossing out the black robes. Hee. Yin Chuan, we will remember today's humiliation. Poisoner said coldly. Quickly take them off. Otherwise, I will go back on my word. Yin Chuan shouted. How dare you? Shinkuan Kuroha and Poisoner shouted at the same time. Whether I dare or not depends on you. Yin Chuan looked at Poisoner with a smile. Humph. Poisoner snorted coldly. With a lift of his hand, the Poisoner also took off his black robe. He threw it on the ground. Poisoner was also wearing clothes, but inside the clothes was a skeleton. Its head was a skull that emitted a faint green light. Meow, so ugly. Meow scolded. Give me the compass. Poisoner said coldly. Yin Chuan smiled and slowly took out a compass from his bosom. Who? He threw it to Poisoner. Ah! Poisoner caught it. Am I right? Shinkuan Kuroha asked coldly. That's right. Poisoner nodded. Let's go. Shinkuan Kuroha said coldly. Everyone nodded and stepped into the sky. As they flew away, Shinkuan Kuroha turned his head and looked deeply at Yin Chuan, his eyes full of hatred. Whoosh! In the blink of an eye, the 7 figures disappeared from everyone's sight. Haha, young master, you're really amazing. Forcing them to take off their clothes? Rosefinch laughed and reached out to grab the spoils of war. Don't move. Yin Chuan suddenly shouted. Rosefinch was puzzled. Shinkuan Kuroha? Poisoner? Just for a compass, it seems that they must have something important to do now, and it must be related to the compass. Emoyushi thought and said. That's right, using the compass they must be in a predicament or have to set up a formation. Yin Chuan nodded. Then what are you going to do? Emoyushi asked. Follow me. If possible, try to keep them here. Yin Chuan said in a low voice. Keep them here for what? Xuanwu asked curiously. Prince Yen means to keep them alive. Qinglong explained. These clothes are the key. Emoyushi's eyes lit up. It will be useful. Don't touch it, just put it in a jade box. Yin Chuan said. Okay. After using magic to put the 7 sets of clothes, everyone quickly flew out of Northern Emo Hall and out of the city. Prince Yen in the Immortal City, they don't dare to attack the Holy Maiden, but it's different once they're out of the city. What if? Rosefinch said worriedly. If you think so, Shinkuan Kuroha and the rest must think so too, so they won't expect us to follow them. Yin Chuan said with a smile. More importantly, they must have encountered a difficult problem. Or they must have met an opponent who can match up to them. Yin Chuan said in a low voice. The enemy of my enemy is my friend? Qinglong's expression changed. That's right, we can't act rashly, we just have to wait for an opportunity. Yin Chuan said in a low voice. Meow, Yin Chuan, you have a lot of bad ideas. Meow laughed. If you slander me again, I'll deduct your spiritual stones. Yin Chuan said with a straight face. Meow, Yin Chuan, you're really scheming and intelligent. You're the nemesis of evil, I'm proud of you. Meow. Meow immediately fawned on him. Emoyushi laughed again. Shinkuan Kuroha and the rest left the Immortal City and put on their black robes again. Yin Chuan. Shinku and Kuroha said coldly. Yin Tao's vile spawn? We should have eradicated him back then. Sovereign, when this matter is over, I'll kill him. An elder said solemnly. Shinku and Kuroha nodded. Turning his head, Shinku and Kuroha looked at Poisoner and said, Poisoner, the compass has been found, are you confident? Don't worry with the compass, it's enough to take down that feng shui master. In the East, no one can surpass me in feng shui techniques. Poisoner said with incomparable confidence. Is that feng shui master's body really suitable for you? Of course it's better than my original body. Even if my previous body is still there, I want to get that body, the ethereal body. It's too rare. Poisoner said in a deep voice. And once you get that feng shui master's body, immediately set up the array. The Lord has already sent word that we must obtain the relics of the Phoenix clan in the Immortal sacred land. Shinku and Kuroha said in a deep voice. Why didn't the Lord send some experts from the Phoenix people? Poisoner asked doubtfully. Phoenix people? The Dazhao Holy Land oversees the East, so the Lord must be careful. However, the Lord is a man of great talent and vision. He will conquer the world sooner or later. Shinku and Kuroha said in a deep voice. Everyone nodded. Outside the Immortal sacred land in the forest. At the mouth of the mountain, several zombies stood straight. The zombies were expressionless, and in front of them stood a figure in a black robe embroidered with clouds. The black-robed figure chanted a strange incantation at the zombies. If Yan Chuan was here, he would have recognized this person at a glance. It was the feng shui master he had rescued in the Demon Wind Mountain range, Feng Yinyang. Feng Yinyang chanted the incantation, and the zombies twisted their heads. Burrow into the ground and guard this place, Feng Yinyang said coldly. The zombies nodded respectfully. Ka. The zombies sank into the ground in the blink of an eye. Turning his head, Feng Yinyang looked into the distance. Death Chi, you're here again, you lingering things. Feng Yinyang looked into the distance coldly. Chapter 420. Immortal City. Mayor's Mansion. 3 figures stood there. Gu Yu and 2 purple-robed servants. Ziwen reported to Gu Yu Holy Sun respectfully. It's Shinku and Kuroha and the rest. They've left, but Mo Yushi and Yan Chuan are chasing after them. Ziwen said confidently. The mantis stalking the cicada? Gu Yu Holy Sun twirled the ring in his hand and sneered. Yes, that should be the case. Ziwen nodded. Ziwen Zichuan. Gu Yu Holy Sun said calmly. Yes. The 2 purple-robed servants replied simultaneously. Since they've become the mantis, you'll be the Oriole. Yan Chuan. He's too much of an eyesore. Gu Yu Holy Sun said coldly. Holy Sun, don't worry. We'll definitely make Yan Chuan stay. The 2 replied simultaneously. Go. Gu Yu Holy Sun said calmly. Yes. In the forest. Yan Chuan, Mo Yushi and the other 4 were moving quickly. Meow, it's been half a day. Where are they going? Meow sat on Yan Chuan's shoulder and complained. This way. Rosefinch raised an eyebrow. What's wrong? That's the ruins of the Immortal Holy Land. Not long ago there was a flash of light in front of us. Mo Yushi explained. Flash of light? Does that mean that the so-called treasure is here? Yan Chuan frowned. Yes. Unfortunately, the treasure was hidden too well. Even after digging 3 feet into the ground, we still haven't found the treasure. But the more it's like this, the more important the treasure is. Mo Yushi said. Is there anyone guarding here? No, the yin qi here is too strong. It's not suitable to stay here for long. Mo Yushi explained. Treasures may have spirits, and we're guessing that they may appear once a year at the same time or at the same time. Yan Chuan nodded. Meow, they've stopped. Meow meow cried. Everyone quietly landed in a valley. In the distance on a hill. Shinku and Kuroha and the others looked at Poisoner. Is that all? Shinku and Kuroha asked. We set up the array formation last time, but the compass is not mine, so I was worried that it would fail. This time it will definitely work. Poisoner said coldly. We will protect you. Shinku and Kuroha nodded. Poisoner held the compass in his hand and lightly flashed it. Wheeze. The needle in the center of the compass suddenly spun wildly. He reached out and pressed the compass into the ground. Rumble. Sounds of tremors could be heard coming from all directions. Huff. As the ground trembled, traces of black gas spewed out from the ground. The black gas soared into the sky, and it was extremely gloomy. Is that the death aura? Yin Chuan's face darkened. Bang! Suddenly, a skeleton claw broke out from the ground. Bang! 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 More and more skeletons crawled out from the ground in the blink of an eye. Thousands, tens of thousands, and even more. Kaha! Countless human-shaped skeletons let out ear-piercing and eerie roars as they faced the distance. Go! Poisoner shouted. Bang bang bang! The skeletons ran quickly, holding bone sabers and bone spears, and rushed towards a mountain in the distance. Wherever the skeleton army passed, the death aura soared into the sky. Everywhere they passed, the sky was covered, and the moon was covered. It was as if they were isolated from the outside world. The mountain in the distance was hard to pronounce. Death aura? You're here again, you bunch of ghosts. Feng Yinyang looked coldly into the distance. Feng Yinyang waved his hand. Rumble. Under Feng Yinyang's feet, the death aura also soared into the sky. Rolling death aura covered the sky, and it rushed towards the death aura opposite. On the ground, zombies crawled out. Chapter 421. The zombies were expressionless. More and more of them crawled out. Go! Feng Yinyang said coldly. Roar! The zombie army roared and charged at the skeleton army. Rumble! The two armies ran and soon met at the center of the battlefield. Roar! Crack! The zombies and skeletons fought each other, neither willing to give in. The sound of fighting pierced the void. It was extremely noisy. The two sides made contact with each other, and the surroundings were shrouded in the blink of an eye. However, there was a faint blue light amidst the black qi, allowing them to see the tragic battle inside. With just two people, they can create a large-scale war scene? Feng Shui masters are really strange. Qinglong sighed. Come, let's go. Yin Chuan said with a smile. Ah, aren't we waiting for them to fight until both sides are injured? Yushi said in surprise. The Feng Shui master over there is an acquaintance of mine. Yin Chuan smiled. Oh, everyone nodded. Since it was an acquaintance, the original plan had to be changed. Whoosh! The group carefully sneaked in Feng Yinyang's direction. Because they were close to the ground, they had no choice but to pass through the battlefield. Roar! Several zombies pounced. Whoosh! Qinglong waved his hand and blocked the zombies. Feng Yinyang, who was far away, immediately sensed something and looked over. Yin Chuan, Feng Yinyang said in surprise. As he spoke, he waved his hand in Yin Chuan's direction. The zombies there immediately ignored Yin Chuan's group and blocked a large number of skeletons for Yin Chuan. In the blink of an eye, Yin Chuan's group approached. Yushi, Qinglong, and the others looked at Feng Yinyang warily. Why are you here? Feng Yinyang asked in surprise. Maybe it's a coincidence. Are you here for the treasures? Yin Chuan immediately asked. No. Feng Yinyang shook his head directly. Oh, could it be that you're doing this for? Yin Chuan suddenly thought of something. Feng Yinyang nodded and said, That's right. It's a pity that we met a few fellows who just won't go away. Lingering around? Yin Chuan smiled faintly. Feng Yinyang suddenly became extremely serious. Yin Chuan looked over. On top of a distant hill, Poisoner suddenly took out a golden cloth roll. It was about 30 feet in diameter, and there were lines drawn on it. They looked like the lines of a compass. The Northern Sect's Great Expansion Diagram? He's a traitor of the Northern Sect? Feng Yinyang asked in surprise. In the distance, Poisoner was already standing on top of the cloth. He looked around at the area that was shrouded in the aura of death. There was a rainbow-colored feather in his skeletal claw. That's a phoenix feather? Yushi said in surprise. Poisoner threw the phoenix feather into the golden cloth roll, and it was immediately sucked into it. Buzz! The cloth roll suddenly emitted a dazzling golden light, and the golden light instantly illuminated the area. The black-robed poison master's clothes suddenly underwent a magnificent transformation. In the blink of an eye, it turned into a set of golden robes, and a phoenix crown appeared on his head. In the phoenix nest, I'm the Phoenix Lord. Poisoner shouted loudly. Ing! 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 In the area shrouded in the aura of death, countless phoenix cries could be heard. Rumble! The hill under Poisoner's feet suddenly expanded, and it became taller and taller. It was like a mountain that rose into the sky. As Poisoner rose, a large number of phoenix illusions flew around. One after another, phoenixes sang loudly as they surrounded Poison Master, emitting phoenix cries that soared into the sky. The entire west side had been covered by the golden light, and the number of phoenix illusions was increasing. The skeletons just now? Just to cover up the aura of death? To create a derivative world? Yin Chuan's face darkened. In the distance, the phoenix illusions gradually solidified, and a strong aura suppressed them. This aura? Is it real? Is it a real phoenix? Qinglong said with a pale face. It's fake, but it's no different from the real one. This is a derivative world. Feng Shui masters have the unique ability to use the power of yin and yang to simulate a sacred realm. Yin Chuan explained. Derivative world? But that's just fake. According to what you said, it's just a simulation. How can it have such a strong aura? Qinglong was puzzled. Do you still remember the Feng Shui formation last time? Is the underworld devil rabbit real or fake? Yin Chuan asked. The Feng Shui formation is different from ordinary formations. It's not real. The derivative world is born from the Feng Shui formation. It's a world formed when powerful Feng Shui masters fight. But Poisoner is only at the immortal state. He shouldn't have the ability to form a derivative world. Yin Chuan frowned and said. Feng Yinyang looked at Yin Chuan in surprise. I didn't expect you to know Feng Shui. That's right. The Feng Shui master opposite us is not qualified to form a derivative world. But he has the Northern sect's big picture. He stole the big picture of the Northern sect, which is the most precious treasure of the Northern sect. Feng Yinyang said in a low voice. Phoenix, listen to my order. Poisoner's cold voice came from afar. Hum. Several phoenix illusions cried out. Capture the man from the east. Poisoner shouted. Hum. The phoenix illusions cried out. They turned around and rushed toward Yin Chuan. I feel that many of these phoenix illusions are at the emptiness realm. Qinglong said with a pale face. Feng Yinyang looked at the phoenix illusions and clenched his fists tightly. Bastard, you spoiled my plan. Alas. Feng Yinyang sighed slightly. What's wrong? Yin Chuan asked. I prepared it for Guyu, but... Feng Yinyang sighed slightly. He took a step forward. Buzz. A huge round wheel suddenly appeared under Feng Yinyang's feet. As the wheel rotated, the earth around them roared. On the Dragon Island, I am the Dragon King. Feng Yinyang's roar resounded through the entire derivative world shrouded by the deathly aura. Ung! 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 The roars of the dragons soared into the sky. Rumble! The earth under Feng Yinyang's feet roared as if it was about to rise. Close! Yin Chuan shouted at Mo Yushi. Here! Mo Yushi quickly handed over a jade box. Feng Yinyang, these are the clothes worn by the 7 people on the other side. They are not stained by anyone else's aura. Yin Chuan threw the jade box to Feng Yinyang, who was rising up. Feng Yinyang's body was surrounded by golden light. He wore a flat imperial crown on his head and slowly rose up. Catching the jade box, Feng Yinyang nodded lightly. Dragon-shaped phantoms suddenly appeared around the towering mountain. There were flood dragons, winged dragons, horned dragons, and hornless dragons. Nearly 1,000 huge dragon illusions suddenly appeared. They roared and supported Feng Yinyang as they soared into the sky. Ung! Ing! In the derivative world, the dragons roared and the phoenixes cried. Chapter 422. In the derivative world, the mountain under Feng Yinyang's feet grew higher and higher. In the blink of an eye, it reached the peak of the derivative world. Like a commander, Feng Yinyang commanded nearly 1,000 dragons as he looked coldly at the poison master on the commander's platform. The 2 Feng Shui masters were superior, and became the protagonists of the derivative world. Qianlong, attack. Feng Yinyang gave the order. Roar! Roar! The dragons roared. In the long roar, they became more and more solid and rushed forward. Boom! Boom! The collision between the phoenix and the dragon suddenly burst out a gust of wind. Below, a group of skeletons and zombies had already fallen down in front of the dragons and phoenixes. For a time, the derivative world was chaotic because of the battle between the two sides. The dragon showed its power and threw down the mountain. The phoenix spread its wings and evaporated the small lake instantly. Boom! 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 The loud noise could cause earthquakes again and again. Qinglong and others looked at the sky in horror. A feng shui master who can set up a formation is abnormal. Qinglong said with a complicated expression. I heard that a feng shui master is weak. It doesn't matter how weak he is. With a wave of his hand, a group of divine realm and virtual realm mythical beasts will help him. He can get as many as he wants. How can we fight? Bai Long also said with a complicated expression. It's not that easy. Yin Chuan shook his head with a smile. Yin Chuan and others hid under the mountain of Feng Yinyang's commander. On the other side, Shinkuan Kuroha and others also saw Yin Chuan and others. They dared to come? An elder sneered. Let's kill Yin Chuan. Another person said. Roar! When a group of virtual realm masters was about to trouble Yin Chuan, a group of dragons suddenly appeared in front of a group of virtual realm masters. They opened their mouths and spat fire at them. Ah! An elder exclaimed. Boom! The elders quickly took out their magic treasures to fight against the dragons. Poisoner, what's going on? Why is his dragon in your home ground? Shinkuan Kuroha exclaimed. Who? Before everyone's eyes, illusory figures of dragons appeared out of thin air. Slowly but surely, the illusory figures of dragons materialized and charged toward the poison master. Boom! A dragon tail swung down on the mountain, causing it to shake violently. The phoenix on the other side seemed to have lost control and were suppressed by the dragons. That's impossible. This is my domain. How did he infiltrate it? Poisoner frowned in shock. Suddenly, Poisoner saw the 7 sets of clothes floating in the air where Feng Yinyang was. Our clothes? Soul condensing technique? Yin Chuan, you bastard Yin Chuan! Poisoner exclaimed. Poisoner, what's going on? Shinkuan Kuroha roared. The feng shui master on the other side is too powerful. As soon as the 1,000 dragons appeared, I knew that I was no match for him. My phoenix is only half of his. However, I have the great development diagram. I can fight with him until the end, but I didn't expect him to have our clothes. He can use the clothes to send the will of the dragons directly to us and attack us. Poisoner said angrily. What should we do? The derivative world is closed. Protect me and block the dragons that are coming from all directions. Otherwise, we will be in trouble this time. Poisoner said bitterly. Don't worry. Shinkuan Kuroha said. Boom! The dragons roared and suppressed the phoenix. On the other side, Shinkuan Kuroha and the others were in a difficult situation. Ah! An elder was hit by the dragon's tail and was severely injured in the blink of an eye. Chapter 423. Hold on! Shinkuan Kuroha screamed. Phoenix retreated. In the blink of an eye, Poisoner was surrounded by enemies. What a mess! Bastard! Bastard! Poisoner said anxiously. On the other side, Yin Chuan and his team looked satisfied. Meow! These bad guys are doomed. Meow said excitedly. Just as everyone was happily watching the tragedy of the poison master on the other side. Buzz! Yin Chuan's expression suddenly changed. Watch out! Yin Chuan shouted. Boom! Azure Dragon struck out with his palm, colliding with the palm that had suddenly appeared. Boom! A gust of wind blew. The 2 palms collided and separated. In front of Yin Chuan and his team, 2 figures in purple robes appeared. Ziwen Zichuan? Mo Yushi's expression changed. Saint Yushi. The 2 of them shouted at Mo Yushi, but there was no respect in their voices. What are you doing here? What do you want? Mo Yushi scolded. Saint, this is an order from Guyu Holy Sun. Today we must stop Yin Chuan. Ziwen said coldly. Who dares? Mo Yushi shouted coldly. Saint, we know that you have just reached the emptiness realm. We have been in the emptiness realm for many years. You are no match for us. Please step aside. It would be bad if we hurt you. Zichuan said coldly. Hurt me? You dare to hurt me? Moyushi said coldly. Sorry, we are servants of the Holy Sun. We only listen to the orders of the Holy Sun. If you insist on doing what you want, don't blame us. Zichuan said coldly. How dare you? Moyushi shouted coldly. At the same time, she grabbed a folding fan in her hand. Sorry. Zichuan waved the long sword in his hand. Qinglong, block him with me. The rest of you listen to Yanchuan. Moyushi shouted and rushed forward. Boom! The folding fan and the long sword collided, and a large amount of dirt and stones burst out. Qinglong also rushed forward and blocked Ziwen. Boom! Boom! For Emptiness Realm experts started fighting. For a time, the battle in the derivative world was extremely chaotic. There were strong winds everywhere. Sand and stones were flying everywhere, and dragons and phoenixes were colliding. Meow! Meow Meow hid in Yen Chuan's arms in horror. By Long Rose eyes and Xuanwu's eyes. Yen Chuan looked on coldly with a tinge of worry in his eyes. Guyu? Humph! Yen Chuan's eyes narrowed. Saintess, you are no match for me. Get out of my way. Zichuan shouted. Humph! Moyushi did not want to get out of the way. She opened the folding fan in her hand. Suddenly, rays of golden light appeared and rushed toward Zichuan. Sorry for the offense. Zichuan shouted. Clang! The long sword suddenly drew a ray of light and pierced into the folding fan through the gap. Clang! The sword energy instantly pierced through Moyushi's chi wall and scratched Moyushi's arm. Ah! Moyushi was pushed back by the impact. Covering her arm, Moyushi's face turned ugly. Blood dripped from her arm. Yushi! Yanchuan shouted. Moyushi turned to look at Yanchuan and smiled. She shook her head and said, I'm fine. Go. No, Yushi, come here. Let me do it. Yanchuan shouted. Yanchuan wanted to borrow Moyushi's essence clone. I'm already at the virtual god realm. Can you still borrow my essence clone? Moyushi shook her head and smiled bitterly. We have to try. Yanchuan said anxiously. There's no need. Bai Long, take Yanchuan and leave. Moyushi shouted. Leave? If you dare to leave, I'll kill Moyushi. Zichuan sneered. Don't you dare. Yanchuan shouted. Chapter 424. Saintess Yushi, I don't want to kill you. Get out of the way now, or else I won't be polite. Zichuan said coldly. Moyushi's blood fell to the ground. No one noticed that after Moyushi's blood fell to the ground, it disappeared strangely, as if it was absorbed by the ground. Just when Moyushi was anxious. Boom! A ray of light broke through the ground and rushed to the sky. It even pierced through the derivative world and rushed to the sky. Ray of light? Treasure? Zichuan said in surprise. On the other side, the battle between Qinglong and Ziwen suddenly stopped. Why now? Why now? Ziwen was also surprised. Even Poisoner, Shinkuan Kuroha, and Feng Yinyang looked at the ray of light that rushed out from the ground. The ray of light broke through the derivative world and rushed to the sky. The original darkness of the night became extremely gorgeous because of this colorful ray of light. Immortal City, City Master's Mansion. Holy Sun, the treasure is born, the treasure is born. Practitioner shouted. Guyu Holy Sun rushed out of the main hall. Yangzigu also rushed out of the main hall. They looked at the bright colorful ray of light in the distance. The treasure is born? Let's go. Guyu Holy Sun shouted excitedly. What treasure? Yangzigu also said excitedly. Rumble. Countless practitioners of the Immortal City rushed to the sky. Under the leadership of Guyu Holy Sun, they quickly rushed to the ray of light. The vast group of Xiuzha charged forward. At the derivative world, Yanran became a huge focus. In the far east of the derivative world, in a valley, a figure in white was sitting cross-legged at this moment. It was the new knife demon that separated from Yanchuan not long ago, the Emperor. The ray of light rushed to the sky. The Emperor opened his eyes. A gust of wind blew his short hair. The Emperor stood up and looked at the ray of light in the distance coldly. 7-colored light? Had the heavenly jade palace opened? Who was it? You actually know how to use the blood of the phoenix to open the seal? The emperor frowned. That place used to be Phoenix's resting place. I don't know how many years it has been. I hope there are still people who know Phoenix. Maybe they know what happened back then. The emperor sighed. Xing. He pulled out the long bronze saber stuck in the ground. The emperor took a step forward and shot toward the direction where the multicolored light soared into the sky. In the derivative world, the earth was shaking. Multicolored light shot up from the ground into the sky, making the previous battle seem unremarkable. Ing! 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 Suddenly, a large number of phoenix cries came from underground. This sound was not simulated by Poisoner, but produced from underground. Was there a phoenix cry underground? Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as boundless golden light burst out from the ground and shot into the sky. The zombies and skeletons on the ground were instantly annihilated by the golden light. The golden light shot out and instantly transformed into the shadows of Phoenix. One by one, the shadows of Phoenix appeared. There were tens of thousands of them. Suddenly, the original light of the derivative world increased by several times. A large number of phoenixes rushed toward Moyushi's body. A large number of phoenixes rushed toward Poisoner. Phoenix's will? Phoenix's will, the heavens are helping me, the heavens are helping me, ha ha ha. Poisoner suddenly shouted excitedly. His hands flipped. Countless phoenixes will rushed out from underground and were suddenly controlled by Poisoner. A large number of phoenixes will condensed into the same phoenix that Poisoner simulated. Ing! 1,000 phoenixes cried out together, and the number of 1,000 phoenixes was still increasing. The situation of being suppressed by the 1,000 dragons was no longer the case. In an instant they were competing with each other. They even reversed the situation and continued to force toward Feng Yinyang. What's wrong? Feng Yinyang was a little depressed. Chapter 425. A large amount of Phoenix's consciousness rushed into Moyushi's body, and a large amount of Phoenix's consciousness was controlled by Poisoner. Feng Yinyang's dragon clan was forced to retreat. The derivative world was in chaos. It was not over yet. In the middle of the two Feng Shui masters' platforms, the earth rumbled, and a jade mountain broke out of the ground. The jade mountain was black and yellow, and the two colors were constantly changing as if the colors were moving. Rumble! The phoenix's shadow was no longer gushing out from the ground, but from the huge jade mountain. The phoenix's shadow rolling out showed that the phoenix's consciousness came from this huge mountain. As soon as the jade mountain appeared, the originally soaring light suddenly increased by more than 10 times, and shot straight to the 9 heavens, illuminating the heaven and earth with dazzling light. A treasure has appeared? Zichuan was also surprised. 100 feet tall jade mountain attracted everyone's attention. Yan Chuan squinted his eyes and said in surprise, "The jade of heaven and earth? Meow? What did you say? What jade?" Meow was confused in Yan Chuan's arms. The relic of the undying sanctuary? Shinkuan Kuroha's eyes flashed with greed. "Let's go!" Shinkuan Kuroha shouted. The 5 elders followed Shinkuan Kuroha and rushed over. "Scoundrel, how dare you covet such a precious treasure?" Zichuan shouted loudly. Zichuan and Ziwen quickly flew towards the Jade Mountain. Not only the two of them, Moyushi and Qinglong also rushed over. In the blink of an eye, everyone had arrived. Rumble! Moyushi, Qinglong, Zichuan, and Ziwen worked together to attack Shinkuan Kuroha and the other 5. Rumble! 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 The void exploded, and the fight between the Emptiness Realm experts stirred up a cloud of dust. The elders blocked Moyushi, Zichuan, and the others, but Shinkuan Kuroha easily reached the Jade Mountain. He waved his hand, and a huge force rushed towards the Jade Mountain. The huge mountain did not move. Shinkuan Kuroha's face changed. He reached out his hand and touched the Jade Mountain. Phew! His hand seemed to go through the Jade Mountain. A small space? A small space created by the Immortals? Shinkuan Kuroha's mind. Shinkun. Is. The elder's face changed. Moyushi took a step forward and was about to rush towards the Jade Mountain. Kikik, you still want to run? Great development diagram. trapping gods and erecting phoenixes. Poisoner's sinister laughter came from afar. Roar! 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 The phoenix controlled by Poisoner suddenly surrounded Wuxia. As they roared, they each spat out a stream of phoenix breath. The phoenix breath instantly bound Wuxia like silk. Wuxia's face changed. She waved her hand, but there were too many phoenix breaths. In the blink of an eye, Wuxia was bound. Bastard! Wuxia's face changed. The phoenix controlled by Poisoner was both real and illusory. It was extremely powerful. It bound Wuxia, and Wuxia was unable to move. Saintess! Qinglong's face changed. He threw away his opponent and rushed over. Roar! Roar! A large number of phoenixes flapped their wings and blocked Qinglong's path. Qinglong was extremely anxious. However, the phoenix was not just for show. Kiki, you want to save her? Don't even think about it. Poisoner laughed excitedly. Chapter 426. Meow, Sister Emo is in trouble. That pervert is going to take Sister Emo away. Meow exclaimed. Saintess! Rosefinch and the others exclaimed. Chi! Yanchuan flicked his sleeves, and a green vine suddenly shot out. In the blink of an eye, it shot towards Wuxia. Gulp! The green vine instantly wrapped around Wuxia, as though it wanted to pull Wuxia back. Prince Yan will help you. Bai Long quickly pulled Yanchuan's green vine. No need, my green vine is too weak, I can't pull it back. Yanchuan said anxiously. In the distance, Wuxia struggled with all her might. But there were too many phoenix breaths. Ha ha ha. The heavens are helping me. Come here. Poisoner laughed excitedly. Yuxi! Yanchuan shouted towards the distance. Wuxia anxiously turned her head. It's no use, I can't hold on anymore. Wuxia wriggled and said sadly. Trust me, don't resist my poison. Yanchuan shouted towards Wuxia. Poison? Wuxia didn't understand. At this moment, the sharp end of the green vine suddenly pierced towards Wuxia's forehead. Chi! The poison vine pierced Wuxia's forehead. Instantly, the tip turned black, and a large amount of poison was about to enter Wuxia's forehead. Poison! Qinglong and the others' expressions changed. Trust me! Yanchuan shouted. I trust you. Wuxia's eyes flashed with a trace of gentleness. Creak! The black poison completely penetrated Wuxia's forehead. Wuxia did not resist and allowed the poison to enter her body. Gradually, Wuxia closed her eyes as if she had fainted. Boom! Phoenix's power shattered the vines. Swish! Wuxia was pulled towards the poisoner. Kiki, he fainted from poison? Using poison in front of me, the poisoner? What a joke! Poisoner laughed. Prince Yan, what are you doing? Rosefinch and the others exclaimed. Qinglong rushed towards Wuxia, but a large number of phoenix blocked Qinglong's path. Roar! Release the Saintess! Qinglong roared. Qinglong, come back! Yanchuan shouted. Qinglong rushed forward a few times, but he was forced to retreat by the large number of phoenix. When he retreated and saw Yanchuan, he shouted, Prince Yan, what are you doing? What are you doing? Why did you poison the Saintess? Qinglong, Bai Long, Rosefinch, and Xuanwu all glared at Yanchuan. I'm protecting you, Shi. Yanchuan shook his head. Ah! Poisoner's scream suddenly came from afar. Wuxia was pulled in front of the poisoner, but Wuxia's body emitted a faint black light. Injure my primordial spirit? What kind of poison is this? Poisoner exclaimed. For a moment, Poisoner didn't dare to get close to Wuxia. That is, Qinglong and the others were slightly stunned. The situation was unfavorable to us. We couldn't save Wuxia at that time. It was too late, so I resorted to this. Yanchuan said with a gloomy expression. It's called Mangod poison. It's very obscure and weak, so it can be easily expelled from the body. However, if someone is willing to let the poison enter the body, and let the poison reside on their primordial spirit, the Mangod poison will absorb the person's primordial essence and catalyze a potent poison that corrodes the primordial spirit. It's like a mang in the body, so people don't dare to get close. Yanchuan said in a low voice. Like a mang in the body? Mangod poison? Qing Long and the others' expressions relaxed. Like a mang in the body. Although it hurts the primordial spirit, I can detoxify it in the future. I know what Poisoner wants to do with you, she. Yin Chuan said with a gloomy expression. In the distance, Poisoner's skeletal claws turned black. Poison? There's a poison that I don't recognize. Poisoner said hatefully. Chapter 427. He coldly glanced at Yin Chuan. So what if she's poisonous? I can't extract her primordial spirit, but I can still use her. Poisoner said coldly. Taking a step, Poisoner suddenly left the Great Development Diagram and stood outside it. Suddenly, the power of the phoenix in all directions decreased a lot. Feng Yinyang's dragon clan quickly attacked. But soon, Poisoner used his magic power to place Emoyushi in the center of the Great Development Diagram. A large amount of phoenixes will rushed over. Condense emptiness into reality. 10,000 phoenix cry. Poisoner stretched out his hand. Thousands of phoenixes will suddenly erupted from Emoyushi's body. A large amount of phoenixes will that rushed towards Emoyushi were instantly controlled by Poisoner. As the 10,000 phoenix cry, it suppressed the 1,000 dragon clan. Rumble. The rolling phoenix came, and the entire derivation world became the world of phoenix in the blink of an eye. The dragon clan retreated again and again, and was forced into a corner. Emoyushi floated above the Great Development Diagram like a puppet, and was used by Poisoner to summon countless phoenix. Saintess! Qing Long and others exclaimed. What should we do? What should we do? Rosefinch and others exclaimed. 10,000 phoenix cry. Poisoner used Emoyushi as a puppet, and instantly controlled the situation. Kikik. Although more than half of the phoenix is gone, it's more than enough to destroy you. Poisoner smiled proudly. Poisoner, well done. An elder of the Great Winged Heaven School laughed. Quick, you guys take out the treasure that the Lord wants. I'll take that feng shui master's body. Poisoner shouted excitedly. The myriad phoenixes cried in unison, besieging Feng Yinyang. Boom! Suddenly, there was another earth-shattering sound. At the edge of the derivative world, there was a dazzling golden light. Rumble! The entire derivative world was shaking. The golden light seemed to be shooting in from outside the derivative world, like a golden sun, squeezing into the derivative world. Buzz! A golden sun rushed into the derivative world battlefield. 60 cultivators stood in the golden sun. The golden sun was like a huge cover. The cover instantly expanded, covering a large number of mountains and rivers in the blink of an eye. It occupied 1/5 of the derivative worlds. Outside the shield, a large number of phoenix could not enter. The great sun merit heavenly formation of the great Zhao Holy Land? Poisoner cried out in shock from afar. Holy Sun! Zichuan exclaimed in surprise. Guyu Holy Sun led a group of powerful cultivators into the derivative world battlefield. As soon as the group of cultivators entered the derivative world, they immediately looked around and looked at the huge jade mountain. Hey you're fast! Poison Master exclaimed. Can't take it. There is a world inside the jade mountain. Shinkuan Kuroha Jiaohu said. Go in. Shinkuan Kuroha shouted. Yes. Shinkuan Kuroha, along with the 5 elders, stepped into the Jade Mountain. The 6 of them disappeared instantly and entered the inner world of the Jade Mountain. Guyu Holy Sun's face sank. Poisoner! Yin Chuan suddenly shouted. Poisoner looked over. As long as you can't kill all of us here, if you dare to hurt Emoyushi, the great Zhao Holy Land will exterminate your entire clan. Yin Chuan shouted at Poisoner in the distance. With Yin Chuan's shout, Poisoner's face suddenly changed. His original unscrupulous attitude was gone. His original plan was to kill everyone here, including Emoyushi. After that, who would know that he killed Emoyushi? But it was different now. There were so many people here, could he kill them all? Especially that Guyu Holy Sun. He was an expert of the Middle Emptiness realm. Ah! Yushi? Yang Zigu, who was beside Guyu Holy Sun, exclaimed. Guyu Holy Sun looked around coldly. He looked at the 2 feng shui masters on the mountain, at Yin Chuan, and at Emoyushi. Emoyushi is just poison, she won't die. That skeleton won't dare to do anything. Guyu Holy Sun said lightly. Oh. Yang Zigu nodded with furrowed brows. At this time Yang Zhijiu also looked at Yushan. Is this the treasure? Yang Zigu's expression changed slightly. Perfected masters, follow me. Guyu said in a deep voice. Yes. The 8 men behind Guyu replied. The rest of the immortal state warriors, stay here and follow Zichuan and Ziwen to stop anyone from entering. Guyu Holy Sun said coldly. Yes. The 50 immortal state warriors replied. Guyu looked at Zichuan and then at Yin Chuan. A murderous look flashed in his eyes. Yes. Zichuan nodded. Then Guyu led the 8 perfected masters to the Jade Mountain. I'm coming too. Yang Zigu shouted. Chapter 428. Outside the derivative world. The emperor stood at the top of a mountain and watched a sun-like cover enter the derivative world. Guyu Holy Sun was inside the cover. Is this place really in ruins? The emperor frowned. The heavenly jade palace is open? Even demons and monsters are coming out. The emperor said coldly. As he spoke, he walked toward the derivative world. In the derivative world, Guyu Holy Sun flew out of the great solar merit sky formation with 8 immortals. I'll go too. Yang Zigu shouted. Guyu Holy Sun frowned slightly but did not stop them. The 10 of them flew toward the Jade Mountain. But at this moment, even though Poisoner had thousands of phoenix, he did not dare to attack the 10 of them. He allowed them to fly close and enter the Jade Mountain. They disappeared in the blink of an eye. Yin Chuan frowned in thought. At this moment 2 sharp eyes suddenly turned to him. Ziwen and Zichuan. The 2 of them looked at Yin Chuan coldly. Yin Chuan felt something and looked at them immediately. There were 2 virtual realm experts and nearly 50 god state experts in the Great Solar Merit Sky Formation. They were all under Guyu Holy Sun's command. Yin Chuan, you can't escape this time. Zichuan sneered. Holy Sun ordered to kill Yin Chuan. Ziwen also ordered. The group of immortal state warriors looked at Yin Chuan curiously. Everyone saw clearly that he was at LV9 of the essence state. Was he at such a low cultivation? Did he have to use so much power? Young master, go quickly. You guys protect the young master and leave. Qinglong shouted. Yes. Bai Long and others replied. Meow, this is bad. Meow was worried. Boom. There was a loud noise in the distance and a white light suddenly shot into the formation. Who? In the middle of Yin Chuan, Ziwen and the others, a white figure suddenly appeared. Emperor. Yin Chuan asked in surprise. As soon as the emperor entered, he immediately scanned his surroundings. In the end, he looked at the Jade Mountain. The heavenly Jade Palace is open? Did anyone go in? The emperor looked at Yin Chuan and asked. Yes. Yin Chuan nodded. The emperor took a step forward and was about to rush towards the Jade Mountain. Who? Ziwen suddenly appeared in front of the emperor. Who are you? Ziwen asked coldly. Scram. The emperor said coldly. A mere chi state cultivator dares to ask me to leave? Humph. Ziwen coldly snorted, and a powerful aura shot out. The emperor raised his head and looked at Ziwen coldly. Ziwen's aura couldn't suppress the emperor at all. Xing. The emperor unsheathed his bronze blade and looked at Ziwen coldly. The Holy Sun has said that no one is allowed to enter. I think you are tired of living. Ziwen reached out his hand and attacked. Boom! The blade and the palm collided, and the surroundings shook violently. The palm of an abyssal realm cultivator was so powerful that it pushed the emperor back 100 meters. I think you are tired of living. The emperor said coldly. On the other side, Yin Chuan's eyes lit up. He saw an opportunity. Qinglong. Stop, Zichuan. Yin Chuan said. Ah, child, what are you going to do? Qinglong was surprised. I need to break through as soon as possible. Yin Chuan said in a low voice. Xing. Yin Chuan pulled out the Jade Emperor's sword from his back. Meow? Meow? Meow was confused. Bai Long Rosefinch Xuanwu, take care of Meow. Don't let anything happen to Meow. Yin Chuan handed over Meow. Ah, child, what are you doing? Rosefinch was surprised. Meow. Meow also cried. Yin Chuan handed over Meow and said, You only have one chance. Listen to me and do as I say.